tapes. And what they do is those magnetic tapes are actually from this LRO that we're seeing right here. And what it did was it scanned the film and then it sent the scans back. So it actually had a laboratory on there to develop that film. And then it scanned the film and then it was transmitted back and it was stored on those data tapes. That's what we're.
Okay. So these guys, I'm sitting here, listening to these guys just go, and go all day about, what was supposed to have happened on the way to the moon and everything else and this and that. And I'm like, wow, these guys are super smart, super duper smart. Wow, really, really smart. But it's almost like eating a sandwich, but then something ain't right with the sandwich. Something ain't kicking with the sandwich. I don't know if it's not seasoned right. I don't know if it ain't the right bread. I don't know if it's not hot enough. I don't know if it's got the right if it's got the right ingredients, just something ain't popping right with this sandwich. I don't get it. And this is strange because even though these guys are super bright, they're very well trained and everything in their craft, something is missing. Of course, I'm sure you guys have an idea of where I'm going with this, but let's continue. Let's kind of skip it forward a little bit and let's continue.
Law and vacuum space contradicting propulsion. Well, I'm sorry, but a rocket does work in a vacuum. You do not need anything to push off of. There are 2 YouTube videos displaying this. And
let's hear that again.
We're down. So, there was one other thing I wanted to address too. Here we go with this vacuum and Newton's third law and vacuum space contradicting propulsion. Well, I'm sorry, but a rocket does work in a vacuum. You do not need anything to push off of. There are 2 YouTube videos displaying this. And I've showed this example in a few videos.
So, y'all hear what he just said right there? Oh, shit. My bad. Let me go ahead and rewind that. I apologize, y'all. Let's go back just a little bit and let's hear that one more time.
We're down. So, there was one other thing I wanted to address too. Here we go with this vacuum and Newton's third law and vacuum space contradicting propulsion. Well, I'm sorry, but a rocket does work in a vacuum. You do not need anything to push off of. There are 2 YouTube videos displaying this. And
so, yeah, no, they're not trolls. These guys are really they're called the Apollo detectives, right? And basically their mission in life is to debunk the moon landing. So no. It's not that I'm putting up trolls. No, I'm not putting up trolls at all. But I'm just there to present, like, these guys are they claim to have all this intelligence, to be so smart. They've spent years peeling this onion of lies from NASA. And my thing is, I've been trying to get guys like Jera White and the guy in the middle, the British guy in the middle, and then the guy at the bottom that you saw, Marcus Allen, the older guy, the oldest guy actually on that panel, to come and to pay attention. Exactly. So smart, Mr. Super Sidewinder. What's happening? Palkus, what's going on? And Peter W, what's happening? Yeah, so smart that they're stupid. And a few months ago, I was on a show from Apollo Detectives, and I was asking them, hey, why don't you guys pay attention to the flat Earth? And then I got a lot of lip from Jera White. Oh, pip pip, cheerio, cup of tea, good day, mate, type shit, right? And I was like, well, yeah, of course they made fun of me, called me dumb and everything else, and I'm fine with that. I'm used to it. You know what I'm saying? But still, I think, like, we've seen people like this many times. My brother's been on here a few times. We know people like that. My brother's the math guy, right? And then he swears up and down by his calculations and equations, even though they're like they don't amount to anything, not even a hill of beans, right? And so they claim with all their intelligence and everything else that they got it and they figured it out. Hell, we haven't even figured it out. We don't even know what the hell the sun is. You know what I'm saying? So we know we don't have it figured out, but what we know is where we're not. You know what I'm saying? And these guys are going down a rabbit hole that's going to take them absolutely nowhere. And so my thing is, Ryan S., what's going on, brother? Yeah, and yes, they think the Peter W., they absolutely think the ISS is real. Yes. Yes. All these bizarre movements and everything else, they think is real. You just heard Scott, right? You heard him say, well, a rocket absolutely does work in a vacuum. And I'm like hell it does. How the hell does it work in a vacuum? You know what I'm saying? So these guys are in the wrong set of weeds, and they have no. What's crazy is this. I'm saying all that because here's what I'm starting to notice, right? Is that even though we're in our flat earth community, we're kind of not, I try not to say hermetically sealed because we've seen the other side, but we know what it is we know. We know also what it is they know. But what it is they know is still a hot topic. You understand? It hasn't gone away, obviously. And you have very well-meaning people. New World, what's happening, brother? It's good to see you. All right. You have some very well-meaning people that have no idea that they're playing for the wrong fucking team. They have no clue. They're so smart, they're so capable, and they seem well-meaning. But they're either afraid to take the next step or they have no fucking clue. Serious business. What's happening, brother? Monty, what's good? What's good? It's good to have you. So let me see what we got in here. The ISS is real. I know how rockets work in a vacuum. How do rockets work in a vacuum, Charles Arnold? Please tell us. Please tell us how a vacuum works in a vacuum. A rocket works in a vacuum. Larry, what's going on, bro? What's happening, man?
Dude, I love this topic so much.
Yeah, man.
The moon is what got me on this whole effie journey. It was just like I never believed in that crap. And these guys that dork out and talk about like it never happened, never happened, but the moon is there and you can land on it. Weird. It's a weird, like, I don't know if it's a boomer concept or something. My dad, love him to death. He's intelligent as hell. But just can't. You could tell him the moon landing didn't happen. He's like, well, maybe it didn't happen, but it's still the moon. It's still out there in heliocentric, Disneyland Spaceballs, right? So like, and again, it's like even Bart Sibrel, right? The guy is like every bit like smashing the moon landings, but he still believes it's a solid rock out there. I don't know. It's a weird thing, dude. I don't know.
Yes. You want to know something? It's this maybe it's the word presupposition. I want to use that word. I just don't. It's because it sounds sexy and good, but I don't know what it means and I don't know the proper context in which to use it. But it sounds like it would be the right word in this case because these guys are making an assumption that the moon is a solid object.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're basing it off of things like, well, we know it's a solid object because China sent the Chang'e. And I'm like, well, surprise, motherfucker, because the Chinese are a bunch of liars too. Surprise. Not saying that we're any perfect because our government is full of bullshitters. Look at these California. You got this California fucking everything is turning into a California raisin in California right now. You understand?
I don't mean to laugh at that, but I get the joke.
I'm sorry for all my California family.
It's tough out there,
yeah. But our government is mistreating everybody, and a perfect example of that is California. Everybody's being lied to. Fire hydrants are being stuck, and the lies just keep coming. They don't stop. The lies continue. Fire hydrants are gone. Water's gone. This is fucking California, not in Africa or South America. It's here in the United States, one of the richest states one of the richest places to live in the world, even though most people are homeless, and they have no fucking water in a first world America country. no fucking water. No fire hydrants to have water. How the fuck that happened? You get a whole fire hydrant stolen. So I'm saying all that, even though it doesn't have anything to do with the topic, because it does have something to do with the amount of lies that we have to deal with, even today. So for these grown ass men, super capable, super smart, very well respected in their craft, men, to not see that they've been lied to for a long, long time is still, it's still like catches me off guard from time to time.
I
And
have. Go ahead. Sorry.
no. And so just trying to remember that, hey, not everybody's a flat earther. Not everybody's familiar with what is a lie, what a lie is. And so they're still buying into this bullshit and they're going further down the wrong rabbit hole. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it was a really interesting thing that went around Twitter today, and this goes with both what you're talking about with the moon stuff and Los Angeles. There was a guy with a little handheld laser burning paper and stuff in his garage, just burning it, launching it into like it wasn't a huge fire, but he was burning holes and stuff from across the garage, and it was like I bought this online. Now, if you think that I can burn stuff up with this little thing, this little laser gun I bought online for probably a couple $100, it's probably a commercial level like laser burning fire starter device.
Was it a blue laser?
It was red. The one I saw was red.
Okay.
But he was just burning shit from across the garage, yeah. And I'm like, if they have that commercially available, what do you think they have on the nose of a jet plane from one of our military positions?
Yeah, we've had that for over close to 40 years. We've had this laser gun. We've had that laser gun mounted on the radar. It looks like of an airplane. That's right.
And then you go back and you look at Maui and you look at Paradise, and there's a bunch of other places, and it's like everything keeps looking the same after it's all said and done. And it's like, why are the blue things surviving? Not making a claim here, guys. Just like going through the evidence, and I'm like, that's weird. That looks like the other thing. Oh, that's weird. That looks like the other. At what point in time do we stop saying that's weird? That looks like the other thing, and saying like, holy shit, what is actually happening here? Like, is this just real estate games for the elite? Like, oh, we'll just burn down a neighborhood, just reclaim it. They don't even think twice about it. They're just like, it just looks that way to me.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion.
No, it looks strange because even when I was on Sav's channel and then he showed a bunch of stuff burning, I was like, that's funny how all the plants are still so green and they could withstand that heat. I could tell you, man, being on a ship and having to deal with fucking fires, like the amount of heat being around an actual inferno is, if you've never been around one, it will change your life. Let's put
I'm told firestorms, because they suck up so much oxygen. It was the same thing that happened, the bombing of Dresden killed a bunch of people just because they suffocated. Is it sucked up all the oxygen within that little geographical area, and then you just couldn't breathe. And they're the firefighters. I was watching a lot of stuff today. Nicole's been watching. It's like they're describing very similar descriptions of what happened in Dresden. Fire tornadoes, fire nados, these sort of thing. But the the public media campaign is such that, well, we just treat it as if it's a natural event. Of course, they're going to call it climate change. That's just what they're going to do. So you have these, this whole media narrative that's running parallel with the actual thing that's happening, and then you have the gaslighting in between, which is what the media does. They do this with all things, and this brings it back to the moon. I mean, the ultimate gaslight of all time, or maybe not gaslight, but just deception, was just taking something that's this and making it like this. Taking something that's this and turning it into this, which is an inversion. And they did the same thing with the moon. It was like, well, if it's, the moon, it looks like it's a sphere, so what you're walking around on is a sphere. And you got a whole subgroup of people in all the genres, not just the moon. People that focus on certain genres are really great at breaking it apart. But they can't step back and look at it in aggregate and look at what the actual picture was. They're just basically trying to get you as far away from yourself and your intuition as possible. And what's better than to call something that's this? And then you just put a bunch of things in front of them spinning, and then you're hypnotized, and then suddenly you're in their realm, and then you're doing what they want you to do. And that's my rant. Sorry, man.
Yeah, they're doing exactly. Yeah, it's like playing Simon Says when you don't want to play Simon Says, but they got you playing it anyway.
Yeah.
Right. They're like, go this fast, go that slow. Simon says do this, Simon says do that. And you're trying to keep up. Meanwhile, you don't understand. You don't have to play that bullshit game.
Yeah, you're like,
you
why am I even
really
doing this?
don't. Exactly.
Why?
Oh, well, you have to. And you're like, oh shit, let me get back into the game. I'm fucking up. Right. And so they've got us looking at the moon. And this is why I say, man, they played a tricky game. They got us looking at the moon as if it's physical. They got us looking at the sun as if it's physical. They got us looking at the stars the same way. Everything. And so when things are physical, that means they have definition. And when something has definition, that means it has a beginning, it has an end. It is an absolute, a beginning, an end. It's measurable. Can we truly measure the moon, though? Can we truly measure it?
Yeah, I mean, when it's in a different position from each person looking at it, that's a problem to begin with, you know, because every single person sees, you know, a moonbeam across a lake up to their feet. But even if you're standing 6 feet apart from them, it's going to them. Whereas in your position, it's going to you.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about living inside of actually, Nicole, she's not really scientific, but she's very artistic. And she said something that's like, well, if you're inside of a prism, you wouldn't know where the light's coming from. You wouldn't know where it's bouncing off this or it's doing that. You wouldn't know. You know, it's like a kaleidoscope. And that's her. I'm coining Nicole on this because she says you're welcome.
Hey, Nikki, what's happening?
But it's like, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. And you know, that was my whole thing with like, and I'm not even gonna bring up TFE anymore. That thing is in my rearview mirror. But it's like when I saw the sun over here, they saw the sun 7,000 miles in a different place. I was like, well, that's weird. That's like really weird, you know. And I was like, well, I don't know if we're gonna get this figured out with this one data point that happened down here. But back to the moon, you know, which was really important is these subgroups. There's a lot of guys that are like moon hoax, like just experts. They're just amazing. But even this is even a better one. George Norrie, who is a moon hoax like kind of guy, and he's been like
used to love George Norrie from Coast to Coast.
Dude, when we've had like our group has had people on his show. I think Weiss has been on there. I think there's a few other people that have been on there. He didn't even think, he thought it was a joke. He's like, he didn't even think that the people that were on there were actually saying, you know, it's actually flat, because he's been in a world that he was indoctrinated into the heliocentrism. Yeah. So he didn't even know how to talk about it. He thought it was a joke, and then he short-circuited live on air. It's public record, and it's not that he's a bad guy, because I grew up on people like George Norrie, the broadcasters from Southwest. Yeah, Art Bell, all that stuff, man. And you can't get mad at him because they helped you kind of. He's the same as Alex Jones. I think he's probably some sort of puppet in this, but he kind of led us up above some spots. And you're like, Alex Jones, what the fuck are you doing, man? You know, I don't think Art Bell or George Norrie actually knew any better. I think they just were heliocentrified, and then they caught it at a certain level. Whereas we're the filtering, you know, basically at the bottom of the cat. So we learned through all those guys, and we're like, guys, look, it's not anything like we thought it was.
Right.
It's just not. You know.
You want to know something? They spent years on radio discussing the moon hoax. They have friends. They have I forgot his name, guy with the mustache and beard that comes on often. You know who I'm talking about? NASA dude.
Oh gosh.
You know who I'm talking about. He's on there all the time. They had John Lear that used to come on all the time.
You want to talk about John Lear? You want to talk about John Lear?
No, not really.
Okay. Because I mean, John Lear is like right in the moon discussion, but like just put a dot on that for
Richard
later.
C. Hoagland. Richard C. Hoagland.
Oh, dude, I spent 2 years with that fucking. He's a snake oil salesman, dude.
Yeah.
Richard Hoagland. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and I know about him. You have George Norrie and Art Bell. You know, Ian Punnett. All those guys that grew up, John B. Wells, I think it is, right? All those guys that grew up with Richard C. Hoagland for years, talking radio with Richard C. Hoagland, right? Mm-hmm. And now we come and we spin the whole fucking narrative because we give them something that they're not ready for. They're not going to walk away from that.
No,
they've invested so much time, and it doesn't matter how true it is. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, you guys are going to die and you're going to believe bullshit. You're going to die soon. You've got less years ahead of you and you're going to die. And this is what you want to go down believing? Lies? Like, man, it would be. And my thing is they've got such a powerful voice, and they're so smart that if they took the step back to take a dozen and a half steps forward and see what the truth is and where they're not, imagine what that could do for their discovery.
I mean, either one of these guys could be like, "Hey, I was wrong," and then put their intellect towards something that was right. Now, I'm not sure that's what Hoagland was doing. Hoagland wasted 2 years of my life. I was looking at Mars images for 2 years. This guy had me,
Yeah.
he had me spellbound, because I was still a space kid, and this is like 2012 to 14. And I was like, this guy is talking some major heavy stuff. And then I realized, oh, he may be in the same school as the Learjet guy, but they were all spinning the Area 51 stories up into the ether of knowledge and people listening, right? And it was like, man, it was like to see how the snake oil thing goes down is really fascinating. And I actually can't get mad at Hoagland because he actually taught me a lesson. He's like, this is how easily you can be had. You can be had this easily. And I remember, when FE finally broke through in my mind, I was mad. I was pissed off at Hoagland. I was like, that's 2 years out of my life, because I read a lot besides from playing music. I read, and I love the fringe stuff. I've always been, like I said, the desert Southwest broadcasting. I love UFOs and all that stuff. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, do I get mad at this guy, or do I just be like, okay, he was a guy that was supposed to teach me a lesson? And he did teach me a lesson. It's like now I can spot a grifter from a mile away, right? And like we are in interesting times here. We really are, because we've got a lot of intersecting opinions, a lot of people infighting. It's like navigating a war zone right now, at least in FE land. But like, you know what? It's like I'm all smiles, man. It's like nothing has changed for me at all. And like now we can like move forward and keep talking about awesome stuff that is way more powerful than even your average bestseller fiction or nonfiction novel in your bookstore. I mean, because we're just like, wow, every day's new. I'm sorry, I don't mean to hijack your show, dude.
No, no hijacking at all. No hijacking, no low jacking. But I tell you what, seeing guys this bright, it's unfortunate just because I mean you have folks they silenced me. First they greeted me, "Hey Ironwork, what's going on? Hey Alan Nostrum, what's happening?" So I was like, okay. And then I was like, um, it's amazing that you guys are here. I love your show. I basically gave them the shit sandwich. Don't know what a shit sandwich is? It's I love your show, bullshit in the middle, like this is what you could fix in the middle, patty, and then your show is amazing, bread. So I got the I love your show bread with the fucking all beef patty of you can fix it, right? By looking at other things other than the bullshit that you're fucking looking at right now. So once they ate the shit sandwich, I don't think they liked it without the seasoning either. And they kind of silenced the hell out of me. They took my fingers away. So after they took my typing ability away to comment further, I started to notice that there were other flat earthers scattered about within that chat, and it was amazing. So of course, Alan Nostrin spoke up. He said his piece, and I think they silenced him too. They silenced another guy, and so these people are still out there with these prominent channels. They're still out there, though they may think that they're doing mankind a service by looking at the moon landing hoax. It's like, dude, leave the moon alone. We know it's a hoax. How do we know it's a hoax? Well, because it's flat. This place is flat.
It's almost like it's like their golden egg. They've got this audience that believes this goose that lays a golden egg, so they're going to stick to their golden egg. And how they cannot like get away from that and be like, look, even though you're getting a golden egg for now, you still ultimately in aggregate you're not on track here. You're not true north, right? And like, and I'll say this, like, to the end of the day, it's like, we didn't spend almost a decade looking for curvature that isn't there. We did it. We did the work.
We sure did.
And you know what? Guess what? We still haven't found it. It's still bullshit. But spotting the grift is like probably the most powerful lesson you can learn in all of this. It's like spotting the grift from Hoagland, spotting the grift. And some of them are doing a grift they don't even know they're doing. I think these guys really believe that it's still heliocentric, and they've got a golden goose laying the egg. They've all their clicks and their listeners and everything else, and they're just going to work to that thing. But I don't think they have the ability. I think there's a certain age cutoff where, and I don't want to say boomers because there's some boomers that are flat, and like, you know, some of my favorite flatties are boomers. But like,
Right.
you know, there's some sort of age cutoff where they don't even have the capacity to get their arms around the fact that they're not living on a ball. You know, we just happen to slip through. I don't know if it's Gen X or whatever. It's like a small group of people at a certain age happen to slip through the cracks. We didn't listen in class that much. I'd rather be outside playing soccer, you know, and like I skipped a bunch of stuff. I sort of just memorized shit so I could get through class. And I was like, okay, I can't wait to get out of here. Like, whatever, memorize this. You know, it didn't go in. I guess I was not susceptible. Well, so I had some sort of shield against the MK Ultra Rockefeller education thing or whatever. And I managed to get out of high school not getting so, you know, imprinted with truth. You know, even college, I had a bachelor's degree in biology. I was the whole time I was like, this still feels sort of bullshitty to me.
You know, and the way I started learning that was when I was taking astronomy in college. And I was like, you know what? I'm not dumb, but for some reason, these movements of these heavenly bodies just don't make any proper fucking sense. Because here's what got me. As soon as my damn Professor Remo, I remember him because all he used to talk about was his alma mater. Oh my goodness, it's Rensselaer, RPI, guys, Rensselaer, and they had this whole fucking school chant. Oh, Rensselaer, blah 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 blah. That's actually freaking Michigan's, freaking the Victors, but you know what I'm saying. He used to sing the old chant like I'd be a sailor singing "Stand Navy out to sea," singing "Anchors Aweigh." You know how corny that shit is, watching your professors sing old fucking college fight songs. And I'm like, oh, dude, it's Rensselaer, man. So he always spoke about Rensselaer, and he was always talking about how, you know, Venus does this and it moves like that. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting it. I kind of get it. Then he said, well, all of them move and our solar system's moving. And I said, wait a minute. I said, so our solar system's moving, but they're moving at the same time. And then all of it started to fall apart for me. And then that's when I wasn't doing so hot in class no more, because I was like, it doesn't work. It can't work. And it doesn't make sense. So even though I passed the class and everything else, it didn't. It's kind of like, you know, people trying to tell you that the round peg is supposed to go in the square hole. And even though they're telling you this, you know good and damn well that's not how it works. It can't work like that. It doesn't work like that. It's not natural. And so as time grew and I still stuck with it, but if somebody told me otherwise, then I'd be more than happy to jump on the alternative of what this place is other than what I'd been taught, because it so didn't make any sense that I was ready to lose it somehow. I was just ready to get rid of that fucking model.
Can
You
I just like
understand?
right there, what you just said is like epic. And I think what you're talking about is the epicenter of the anxiety of most of everyone walking around this place is centered in exactly what you just said. When your intuition is battling what it actually sees versus what you're being told, which is indoctrination, which is education, that sort of thing, that's where the rubber meets the road. That's anxiety. That's the ultimate human problem, whether it's fear, anxiety, you can give it any name you want. It is when your intuition battles when someone else tells you something. You know, if our childhood mind was allowed to just keep growing without some figure away from your parents telling you about this world, took you to a different place, and you're like, this doesn't make any sense, I don't get it. You know, you have this winding up of anxiety through your whole life. You might live 80, 70, 80 years or whatever, and you never understood what caused it. That's what it is. It's like it's an MK Ultra trick to get your third eye and your soul all twisted up and not understanding. Anxiety comes from your intuition battling some bullshit from an outside source. You know, I can't say it any easier than that. I'm not trying to preach here. I'm just saying it's like that's what most of the community that I know of us is like. Everybody's really attached to their intuition. and some get really spiraled up when things don't work out. You know, the TFE thing, whatever. I don't. I don't, because I'm perfectly comfortable and clear. I did the observations. I've seen 1,000 of them. I know that there is no curvature. It's not measurable. We've been trying to find it for 10 years. We've been fighting to find it for 10 years. I've been fighting to not be in flat Earth for at least 2 of those first 10 years. I was like, fuck this. I don't want anything to do with it. Okay. And I fought and I fought and I looked and I looked and I was like, it's got to be curvature here somewhere. We got to be able to figure it out. And it ain't there. It's just not there. And the rest of this bullshit is just bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
it.
It's BS. It's BS, but it's like it's amazing when you see the people that should be qualified. They're qualified. It's like your qualifications doesn't matter who says you're qualified. They don't mean shit. It's crazy that we are where we are, and exactly the dumb Hakeem, what's happening? Dumb and dumber contest out here. Exactly. It's a dumb and dumber. It's like, dang, like y'all really don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. And then you know what they'll do? They'll defer to their buddy that's the engineer over at the JPL, or they'll talk about their friend that works at the NRO or this and that and this. And it's like, you know, I've worked at these places. I've seen from my own 2 eyes how these things function. I've gotten to put my hands on them, right? And then, like, even though these guys are super confident in their abilities, it's like their shit ain't going nowhere. It's really going nowhere.
Nicole she likes to write notes down for me when like she can hear me talking. She says, intuition cannot be measured, sir. And I believe that. Like, your intuition is so much more powerful. And if your gut says something, go with it, man. I would say, like, also like, just as a kind of a rah-rah for the community, you guys, like, we're already there. We don't have to fight back downhill against like hyenas. We don't have to do that. We can move forward at high speed, and they're just going to be chomping at the heels. They're going to be chomping at the heels while we're figuring out stuff. We're not going to know everything. I don't know. Maybe we'll never know everything. No. But you know what?
No, we'll get some stuff wrong too.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm perfectly fine saying I don't fucking know. I know what it isn't. I know what it isn't.
There's nothing wrong with. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. I think the excitement comes from trying to figure things out, discover. And as you start putting the pieces together, the real pieces together, and figuring things out, you get 12.5 more questions. I think it's good, and I think it's healthy to be like that. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem we come across, though, is when you make these claims that you're so positive of, and then you're proven wrong. And then after you're proven wrong, you still go with the bullshit anyway.
That's a really good point. Before you even go on, I wanted to address that exact point. Understanding the null principle in actual science, not scientism. The null principle is, and I've always said this, is like, I said it in my first, I only did one documentary film on flat Earth. It was Dr. Strange Lowry. And I said, basically, is I know what it isn't. And that's a null. That's a null position to have. I cannot say what it is, but I know what it isn't. It ain't a ball at 3959 radius. I can prove it 7 ways to Sunday. Okay, and that's the way to do it. Now, you get called a flat earther. People make fun of you, flat earther, you fucking idiot. No, fuck you. Okay, now I can tell you what it isn't. I can tell you what it isn't. Can you tell me what it is? And they never can. They don't even know their own model. They don't know their own model. What they have is ad homs. They have appeal to authority fallacy. They have all of these things that will drive you to madness if you let it. But don't let it. Because actually, everyone here that's in this pool of thought, we're in a better spot than a lot of these people. A lot of these people are pained. They're troubled. They're, whatever you think about creator, source, God, that's your journey. Not my position to say on it. But I'm saying, like, everybody here is in this school of thought, we're already past all that bullshit. Don't let the hyenas bite at your ankles.
Yeah. So, Hakeem, this is for Hakeem Sharawala. Hakeem, God bless you for being an engineer. Congratulations. That's a nice piece of paper. I hope it's mounted on your wall. You don't have to believe in Pizza Land. You live there. You live there on Pizza Land. So you could come on up. You can explain to us how dumb we are, how the Dumb and Dumber show is up here. Explain to us how we're wrong. I'd really like to see that. Like, if you could show us something and show us where we're wrong, like, hey man, we're here to learn. We know that we don't know everything, right?
Yeah,
But
we're
we
happy
know
to,
what this place is not.
happy
So
to have you up. Come up and just like you're
come on up
actually
and tell us.
as far as flat Earth like gauntlets, this is the easiest one to come up in. So if you want to come up in here, you know, come on up, man. I'm happy to talk.
Yeah,
I would love it too.
Yep.
Hey guys, finally
Yes,
back.
Lord. What's happening, man? It's good to see
What's
you,
up,
bro.
man?
Good to be around.
Yeah.
Let's do
so
it.
that's the thing. Hakeem and Charles Arnold, like, you guys are more than welcome over here. I'm not going to cuss you out. I'm not going to not let you speak. You guys have the floor, right? We're going to let you speak your piece. But here's the thing. You have to, and Hakeem, just prove us wrong. It's that simple. And we're laughing because the thing is, unless you are God somehow and you can make this place curve and bend and move all of a sudden, it ain't never going to happen. So we're like high on confidence in these regards, because you can't make something that's never happened like that happen. So we're waiting on you. You just explain how you don't need knowledge. No, I didn't say I didn't need knowledge. Never said that, Charles Arnold. But hey, you're more than, like I said, Charles Arnold. Like, there's so many people in here in the chat that wants to talk. But you don't have to. You can come on up here and you could tell us how silly we are. It's that simple. Like, I'm giving you guys the floor. Okay, and I'm not being fresh about it. I'm not being, cheeky or anything. It's your opportunity to tell us. Mr. Hakeem, you're an engineer. You know something that we don't. Please go ahead and tell us, man. There are more than 25. Okay, you know that there are more than 25 space agencies doing real work. Okay, Hakeem Sharawala. Do you think those space agencies came before NASA? Number one, NASA is the golden standard of space agencies. Okay, so where the other space agencies are like Fago or fucking Pepsi or RC Cola, NASA is the Coca-Cola of the space agencies, in other words. So I'm giving you an opportunity to come on up here. The Europeans, yes, the ESA, the freaking JAXA, all of that. Like, I get it, of course, sure. But do you know that all of them are in concert with one another, working together, making sure that they get these lies out here? Oh, let me also remind you, Hakeem Sharawala, there was something that happened in 2020 that all those same countries that you mentioned right there understood that there was some bullshit people were getting injected with. So because those countries are in concert with one another, they're telling the truth. They couldn't tell the truth about a fucking shot and the goddamn pandemic. Do you really think they're going to tell you the truth about where it is we live? That's an open question.
And also, I'd like to talk about this. This is actually a really good point. And like, appeal to authority, Hakeem, appeal to authority fallacy is something that's built into the indoctrination. In other words, you think that you've been told something, it's that you appeal to authority because that's how you figured out what happened, right? I mean, we all learned the alphabet because the teacher told us, the alphabet works so we can talk to each other. They can tell you anything they want in compound fashion, all the way down the chute through your education, all the way up to the point where you have to challenge your own ego. You have to challenge who you are. Everything about you is your education and your ego and everything else that you want to talk about the world. It's all wrapped up in your ego. But if you come in and talk to us, this is the safest place ever to come on and talk. We are the least toxic of all. I think we're the least toxic. There's probably lesser toxic places, but this is pretty fair and non-toxic. Come on and talk to us. We'll talk to you about the things that we believe. And if you appeal to authority, we're going to do one of these. But if you say your piece and your truth, we're happy to have you on. And the link is in the chat.
That's all it is. So Hakeem Sharawala, I don't know if you've been here before. You seem new. Welcome. And Charles, I forgot your name, Charles, but I know Charles Arnold. Yeah, Charles Arnold. Welcome. Why did I point to ego? So Charles, welcome. I could tell you guys, like, come on up, explain yourself. We've seen things that maybe you haven't seen, or maybe you're not paying attention to. But you're more than welcome to come on up and tell us how we're wrong. You're an engineer, Hakeem. So with all your expertise that we don't have, you being an engineer, teach us, show us something.
You know, it'd
We're
be
open.
interesting. He's an engineer. It'd be really interesting to like talk to him about the 106. I think it's 106 mile long bridge in China that should demonstrate 6,000 feet of drop, and it doesn't over the course of its entire existence. That'd be good. I'd like to know how you engineer that. I know there's only one bridge in the world where curvature was built into it. It's in my city. It's the Verrazano, and guess what? You got the flat bay underneath it, and the bridge looks like an arch. I don't. It was like some sort of joke, like some sort of engineering joke. So we're going to do this according to the curvature of the Earth. Now it just looks like a curved bridge over a flat water. But you all of these engineering masterpieces, including the canals all over the world, that rely on the fact that water seeks its own level and it's flat across large distances. You're an engineer. I would like you to explain the engineering principle within the designing of those canals, where they engineer curvature of water. And I'm happy to hear it. Please come on.
It's simple.
Please come
simple.
on.
Yeah. Like where is this curvature? Like really, you guys don't even have to go that deep. Just show us where this physical curvature. And here's the thing. When you say that this earth is curving at 8 inches per mile squared, and you guys give us a defined, and I went over the word definition, beginning and an end. When you say that this earth has a defined curvature, circumference of close to 25,000 miles, circumference of 25,000 miles, you have a rate based off of that curvature and mileage. So where do we measure that? Like, how do we measure that? So, Mr. Hakeem, look, man, I'm giving you, if you're going to keep talking that mess, like you could keep talking it, but it's not going to get you anywhere. You're here to explain a truth, right?
Let's talk about his latest bridges. Most times you don't need curvature calc, but you might need it for very larger projects. Yeah, there's one like Pontchartrain and just north of New Orleans, that would need curvature calc. The 106 mile one in China would need major
China's the biggest
curvature
one.
calc. Yeah, that's like it should be 6,000 feet of drop in that bridge, and there's none, which is really curious. It's very strange. So like, I mean, what we're talking about is like we're also talking about long train tracks that cover the distance of the United States. That a mile long, 2 million ton train would fly off the tracks if they don't have curvature calculator. If anything, they're trying to keep that thing as flat as possible so those trains stay on target so they deliver their goods across the Midwest. Not just that. When you're flying in a plane, you know what? Hakeem, just talk about a plane, all right?
Charles Arnold, hold on real quick before you get there.
Go ahead, sorry.
Charles Arnold says 8 inches per mile squared? Not me. That doesn't take into account the viewer height. Charles Arnold, what if the viewer's height was 2 feet? Or what if the viewer's height was a foot off of the ground? Do you know what typically does 2 feet out of the top of the water or a foot out of the top of the water is a submarine's periscope? So do you think a periscope could see that far down if the place was curving? Do you think it would be able to spot its objects at particular distances? That would be a resounding absolutely not. But it does, because this bitch ain't curving and it ain't moving. And I could tell you, and many other submariners out there could tell you the same exact thing that I'm telling you right now. And submarines have been in the water for probably longer than everybody in this channel and chat that's speaking right now is around right now. The subs have been in the water for that long, and these things are just getting better and better. You guys ain't going to put your money where your mouth is. Come on up and show us. But you're not.
That's another good point. It's like a lot of this is a personal point for, I think everybody in the chat can relate to this. It's like a lot of us put faces to this and we didn't want to. Like, I hid this for 2 years. I didn't want to talk to anybody about what I understood about where we live. I didn't want it. I didn't want the attention. I was a musician. I was happy.
And
being myself.
Hold up for a second. Let me explain. Charles Arnold, they don't always. There's something called a mass state, right? So periscope depth is one thing, but a mass state. So there's an amount of periscope that could go up based on what it is that you're doing, and so they could be significantly less, or they could be barely right at the surface. I know what I'm talking about. Any submariner will tell you that, and that's the truth. No, you don't have to show your face, Charles Arnold. Listen, man, you know how these things work. You ain't got to show your face. You say what you need to say.
Yeah, you can do this. Watch.
It's that simple.
Watch this. You can do this, Charles. You can do this. I'll stop cam. You can still talk, and it'll just have like a letter in there, and so you don't have to show your face. And you can talk to us. The point I was making is like a lot of us made our faces known and actually went out and talked to people and met people to make sure this wasn't bullshit, because none of us wanted this turd sandwich of flat Earth. But it came on us, and we're obliged to see it through. So if you want to back up these things that you're saying in the chat, we're welcome you to come on here and talk to us. And we will be reasonable. We're reasonable people.
Well, you know, Hakeem and Charles, look, man, we were just like you guys. We really were. Sans the degree, right? We were lied to. You're being lied to. You're currently being lied to. You were just being lied to 4 years ago. You were being lied to 30 years ago. You were just being lied to yesterday. You will be continue to be lied to tomorrow. There is a fucking litany of lies that these people have in store for you and me. You have to have discernment. There's a difference. And so just because you say something doesn't mean we haven't seen it already. And just because you could say, no, that's not how it works. Well, we've lived particular instances. We've done certain things that you guys haven't. Now, I'm not saying that I've done what you've done. I haven't. But based off of what we're talking about tonight, there's a reason why many of us are saying it is flat, right? We've come to the conclusion. We've drawn that conclusion, and we're honest with ourselves. So one of you guys said ego earlier, right? The hardest part is getting over ourselves and what it is we were taught. No matter how long we were taught this stuff, and no matter how well we did in school, we have to drop instances in our lives, and we had to drop good moments and times in our lives where we were patted on the head for certain and given certain accolades because we did so well in believing and regurgitating a lie. It's hard. It is hard, right? To let that go. But let it go you must if you want to see more of what this place is. But if you're not willing to do that, you're going to continue to believe things like Star Trek, Star Wars, you know, Battlestar Galactica, and all that other nonsense, where those possibilities are not a possibility at all.
And make no mistake, like, I was a space kid. I loved everything about space. I loved the idea of space travel. I had all the Star Wars toys. I was that kid. I used to be a Glober. I did. And giving that thing up was the hugest ego release and also the scariest thing ever that happened to me, because I was like, shit, I'm going to lose all my friends now. I'm going to lose everybody, because they think that like what I understand as truth is completely opposite, and one of the biggest deceptions of all time that starts in kindergarten. They plan it before you even have a chance to have a chance. Maybe your parents even did it to you before you got to kindergarten. They hung balls over your crib. And then in kindergarten, what's my first science experiment? Oh, it's the solar system. I was playing with Play-Doh, and I made the planets, and they gave me a blue ribbon. Oh, I was like, I'm a winner. You know, that's the earliest part of when your brain is soaking up the most information. So like getting away from it and escaping your indoctrination is extremely important in this. You still retain your intelligence. You might be a PhD. You might be an astrophysicist, engineer, whatever. You still keep the scientific method element of that, but you need to walk away from the narrative that lines through your ego and through what you believe, and get out and just get into the world and actually use the brain that you actually have, because you're probably really smart. Use it towards the right way, as opposed to a narrative that swung you way off into fucking left field, into Spaceballs, into Disneyland bullshit, Narnia. And come on and talk to us, and we'll be nice.
That's
I
right.
promise.
Yeah. And, you know, Joyce B brought up a really good point here a little bit ago. Railguns are shot from Navy ships.
Point to point, 100
point
miles.
to point, right? Line of sight. INS does not require, no. Gyros don't require, no, they don't. In order to function, they don't, Charles Arnold. They don't. The place doesn't move.
No, that's
it
not how
doesn't move,
yeah.
Charles Arnold. The gyros don't need this place to roll and do all the things that it's doing.
No,
and this place doesn't move. And any pilot, what's crazy is that pilots are starting to come out and they're telling people like it is. They're telling you like it is. They're like, it's flat. It doesn't. They're trained to fly the. No,
and I've done enough aviation stuff too. My dad was a pilot. Everything else. That gyroscope is the one thing that keeps you from running into the ground. All right.
Yep.
It holds its rigidity in space. It's dependent. We're dependent on its rigidity in space. When you have clouds around you, you can't see where you're flying. You depend on this thing.
Your instruments.
It saves lives. It saves lives. And guess what? The blue part, which is the top, which is air, the bottom part, which is brown, which is terrain, it doesn't flip over from the Netherlands to Australia, which should tell you something. That should be a clue for you. If you want to research that, I know there's a little bit of software thing they added in that never works on any plane. Says this software corrects for curvature. Every pilot that's ever come out and talked about it says it's bullshit. Half the time it doesn't even work. Half the time it's not even on. All right. You want to go through that shit? I've gone through this shit for 10 years. Happy to do it. I'll be soft. I'll be nice. But come on, please show your face. We all have shown our faces. You know, we've shown our faces. Anyone that wants to come on, I'd love to talk about this stuff. We'll be nice. I promise.
And I'll tell you what, man, like it was tough for us to come out. I know it was tough for me to come out and
dude, it was horrible. It fucking sucked.
Yeah, especially while I was in the military at the same time. It getting around me being at the position that I was as a Navy chief, people was talking about, oh my God, Chief is a flat earther, and I'm like, what am I going to say? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You know, I was, and I had to deal with it. Right. And I lost a lot of credibility because I was a flat earther. And I'm like, hey, you know, all the good shit that I've done in the service up to this point, and it goes down the drain for the most part because I didn't believe in the fucking shot and I thought the earth was flat. So that's like a double whammy on my end. And
you know,
at that time was when that shot was out and popping. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And everybody believed in it, but I was the only one that was like, this is bullshit. Y'all better not get that shit. Trust me. And then there went my career. Tweet, goodbye.
Yeah. You know what's weird though? And this is like kind of, I don't get like, it's not a sadistic sort of thing with me, but like, I kind of get a little cackle out of it. Is like a lot of people that argued with me, not only on the Coco, but on also our cosmology, is I still get texts from people and messages from people who hated me for years and argued with me for years. They still ask me questions, secret little text questions that I don't make public. They don't do it as a note on one of my posts on social media or whatever. They'll do it privately and they'll ask a little thing. I'm like, and I'll just be like, oh, it's like this. It's like this. So they're asking questions, but they're doing it from the closet. And I think there's probably millions of people in the closet that didn't make the leap that we did a decade ago, whenever it was. And like, that's how they're going to climb the ladder. They're not ready to come out because they've got an employer that will just fire them, or they've got a spouse that will just divorce them, or their kids will think they're crazy. But in secret, I get texts. It's crazy. And they're like, what about this? I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you about this a little bit. I mean, it just so happens that I hid it for 2 years. I finally was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to talk to people about this thing. And in public is the best way to do it. And then I got through the initial burn. So nothing pisses me off anymore. We've been gaslits for so long. It doesn't matter. You know, at this point in time, like any gaslighting is just like it's a joke. We have our own diaspora of joke and humor in the flat earth community. It's been developed over the last decade. It's so funny. Yeah. It's like nobody even gets our jokes anymore. It's like, come on guys, just come on in. Water's warm. There you go.
Yeah. Like we're not going to sit here and make fun of you because you have a different view, because here's the thing, Charles Arnold and Hakeem, we were you guys at one time, right? The flat earth isn't just tinfoil hat wearing people. You have super professionals, right? You have physicists, you have chemists, you have pilots, you have astronauts, though they're gone, some of them. You have all those guys. You have astronauts that came out and said, we've never been to space. And if they tell you that we've been to space, they're lying to you. You have astronauts that say, yeah, it's flat. The world is flat. Why would you ask?
Sean Hawkins. Sorry, Sean Hawkins is in the chat.
Oh, Sean Hawkins. Sean Hawkins, hey, guess what? We got this right here. Come on up. Talk. Say
Sean,
what you need to say, man.
I actually want to say something about Sean. Hey, actually, aside from your hatred or whatever you are of us, I actually listened to some of your music tonight over on Made by Jim Bob, and you're not bad at music, man. I actually quite liked your music. I don't really like the way you play with us because it's just a drag, you know. And like I know that you have certain feelings about everything, and I'm sorry, but if you want to come on, like you know, like I'll talk music with you all day, but like this isn't really your saloon. But if you want to come in, come in, let's go.
Sean
Come on.
Hawkins, he goes from channel to channel to tell us how dumb we are. That's fine. Sean Hawkins, if you don't believe in it, that's fine. You've been given the opportunity to come up and explain to us why we're stupid. You also have to explain why this place isn't moving and why this place isn't curving, because it's supposed to be a globe. But you know, I'm not holding my breath. Grow up and be adults who understand stuff.
Okay.
Thank you,
All
Sean
right.
Hawkins. We appreciate it. Well, you know what? Why don't you come on up and be adults,
Come
or
on
show
up.
us how to be adults?
Show
Sean
us.
Hawkins, show us how to be some grown-ups, man.
We're ready.
I'm ready to get this adult lesson. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you show us how to be some grown-ups? I got to get rid of this hat with a propeller on the top. You know what I'm saying? I need to grow up a little bit. Come on, Sean. Sean's going to show us how to grow up, y'all.
And tick, tock,
Sure.
tick.
As a former high school teacher,
tick.
I can tell you you're wrong. This level of stupidity doesn't get that far. Oh, so Charles Arnold, you know what? Crack a textbook. Try. Oh, because the textbooks are going to tell us the truth, right?
Yeah.
Listen,
a little
listen.
thing with paper in it. A little thing with paper in
Listen,
it that someone
Charles
printed.
Arnold.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Charles Arnold and Sean Hawkins. Men, you guys have to listen. We've done the textbook thing, right? We've done it. You've got this guy down here, Lowry, that's a biology freaking major. He's got his biology degree, not a major, excuse me.
No, I have a bachelor's in biology, and like I went through the whole indoctrination
Yeah.
period. And I understand the scientific method, but I understand what textbooks are. They're just things that people printed on paper and made you pay for it.
What? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's just what
Yeah.
they did. And likely, probably Rockefeller based, or at least some similar group of like that. You get some good out of it, some bad, you know. But I'm a confessed, escaped indoctrination person, having a degree in biology, however, still understanding the scientific method. So I sort of gleaned the best out of that, and then I was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna play guitar for the rest of my life." So like, if anybody wants to come in here and talk about it, I'll wax anything you want. Anybody. Charles is still out there fighting in the chat.
When did I said I didn't need knowledge? But says he's listening. Oh, well, you know what? Okay.
Come on. Let's go.
So then educate me. I've been saying for you guys to educate me. How could I say I don't need knowledge when I want you guys to come on up here and educate us?
That
First
link
of
is in
all,
the
Sean
chat.
Hawkins needs to show me how to be a man, and you need to show me how to be smart. So come on up. You ignore textbook scientific. Oh Lord, Sean Hawkins. I'm sure you're a good dad, a good brother, good son, you know, good uncle, all those things. I'm sure you are. But come on, brother.
And he's a pretty good singer too. He's a pretty good singer too.
You one-on-one in an open. Hey, listen, I think we're being fair. This isn't even a debate. I want you to teach me. So since I'm stupid, you've never tested anything. You all deny. Okay, so all right, I haven't tested anything. You are unwilling to be educated. If I'm unwilling, why am I allowing you to come on up here and educate us, Sean Hawkins? I'm giving you a chance. I'm letting you tell us how this place is turning and how it's curving. I'm giving you a chance. You get to not only educate me, you get to educate everybody in the foundry right now. So go ahead, man. You've got an opportunity. And I'm not being nasty to you, and I'm not being unfair. I'm being fair.
TikTok.
You understand?
TikTok.
To mock you. I'm not
TikTok.
mocking you. I'm giving you a chance. I'm being
TikTok.
serious. I'm
Come on.
not mocking you.
TikTok.
So come on up, man.
TikTok.
And I'm gonna let you talk.
Let's have a moment of silence for Sean until he comes on.
Yep. Mic over mic. back over IP. Channel will host debates. Let's do no. You're here. You're now.
No,
I'm
you
not
came in
going
here.
on to do a debate. I'm here to learn, not do a fucking debate. See, here's the thing, Sean Hawkins. You guys are out of time. The problem with the globe is that you're out of time. So whatever, you know what the globe refuses to do? They want to do they want to do these 48-hour, 24-hour sun tests, right? Doesn't matter what goes on in the sky. They want to make that claim that it does this with the earth. They still can't prove. Hold on, Charles Arnold and Sean Hawkins, you guys need to understand. You know what you guys are not going to do? You're not going to do a level test because we're not sun observers. You guys aren't going to do a movement test because we're not earth movers. You guys are doing none of that. So instead of coming up against us and comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges and running a level test, you refuse to do it. So you know what that shows me is that you understand. So you understand that your time is up. The globe's time is up. So this is why you're on here on my itty bitty channel talking shit. And you're afraid to come on up here and tell us how we're wrong. Tell us how we're wrong, because we've heard it all. We've heard it all. We damn near seen it all. Tell us how we're wrong, please. And this is one thing I would love is for you to tell us that we're wrong. Because if there's a legit reason as to why this place is a globe, I'll be more than happy to go to it. So I could be like, you know what? These guys were telling us the truth the whole time. I would love that. But the unfortunate reality is that you and people like you are liars. Okay? And as a matter of fact, Sean Hawkins, if you're not going to come on up here, leave. You and Charles Arnold, you might as well leave. Because the only thing, you guys don't provide anything. You guys don't provide anything of substance to a discussion. Do you realize that? You guys are the same people that said that this shot that fucking killed half this fucking planet is worth getting. And it's still doing damage to people. You're the same motherfuckers that said, oh, trust the government. They're only here for our fucking betterment. You guys never get anything right. You get nothing right. And so you expect us to fucking go along to get along with what the constitution of this place is? Are you kidding me?
Hold on a second. Charles asked, are you censoring us? No, we're asking you to come on.
No, we're giving you an
Come on.
opportunity.
Come on.
But this is, here's another problem that I have with it, is when you lie, you're afraid of fucking presenting yourself. You're scared. And I'd be scared too if I was a liar. This is the problem with liars. This is what happens when you lie. You don't want to come out and fucking say it with your chest. Because when you're of the truth, you have nothing else to say but the truth. But when you lie and you're totally full of shit, of course yes. You know what? I never said trust the government. No. You know what? You're of the same ilk. You're the same thing. If you believe that bullshit, if they could believe you to believe, because they had me too. Trust me, they had me too. If they could get you to believe that this place is turning and curving and all this other nonsense, they could get you to believe that this monkey pus that they're putting in your body is actually fucking good for you. So you're of the same fucking ilk. It doesn't matter. Oh, I'm scared. I'm so scared. I'm inviting you. Come on up. Come on up, Sean Hawkins.
Hey, you know what, Vlad?
But you're not.
I think
let's continue.
They're not going to. Yes. They're not going to come up. And what you witnessed just right now, what you witnessed was
exactly.
There's some. This is I'll keep this short, but the difference between people that have bravery and people that are cowards. People that have bravery tackle something that sucks, and we never wanted to be doing flat Earth stuff. We were happy with our lives. Versus, we came out and showed our faces and talked on this for a decade. We talked about the math. We talked about the lack of measurable curvature. We talked about, how do you not have gas pressure without a container? How do you do that? How do you do all these things? We talked about it in public, and we showed our faces. I'm here. This is me. This is where I live. Vlad's been to my house. We know that we're real people. I've been to 5, 6, 7 events over the last, probably more than that, probably 10 events over the last 10 years. I've met real people. And then we have a random name in a chat who will go on video, maybe sometimes, or they will just jerk off in their basement and type on their keyboard and say smarmy ass shit so they feel better about themselves. So here, that's me being mean because you didn't come to the when we invited you in here to come in here and talk to us, you decided to be a coward. That's the definition of a coward. All right? The brave people here are looking at the data and analyzing it as it were. You want to be a brave person? Come on here. I'll be nice.
And
you want to be a coward? You are now labeled a coward for the rest of your life, at least in the eyes of the people that have watched this broadcast tonight. Are we clear on that?
Because you're here, you have an opportunity. I'm giving you an opportunity to speak. I'm giving you whatever it is you want to present. I don't care. I'm giving you you both a chance. All three of y'all a chance. Hakeem was there. Apparently he had to go. He had shit to take care of. That's fine. But you're given an opportunity. Brenda comes up here and Brenda tries to give it, you know, whether we agree, whether they like Brenda or not, I try to give Brenda a chance. Right?
Hey, you know what? At least
Brenda
doesn't
like it.
He shows up. He shows up. I mean, like
Brenda shows up,
you know.
And then even though we talk shit, we let Brenda talk. And then it's like obviously clear that Brenda has got her own opinions.
Brenda's
right?
Brenda, but you know what? He at least has the fucking bravery to show up.
Got the cojones and the
Brenda got bigger balls than you guys.
Exactly. So you chicken shits, and that's what I'm going to call you from now on because you're given an opportunity to speak. I'm not going to talk over you. And that's what he is. Sean Hawkins, unfortunately, is that troll guy. I've heard of him. I'm not going to talk bad about him. I mean, you guys do what you do. But here's the thing. This is what it shows. That we're on the right path. That all we're doing is looking for the truth. And these guys are scared shitless. They're scared shitless. And you want to know something? If they're going to believe that hard and lie, they ought to be. You absolutely ought to be scared.
It's curious. It's curious, isn't it? It's like, here we are. I'm here. This is me. I mean, I guarantee I'm here. You've been to my house. You know, I've met you. We're talking about a really tough subject that nobody wants to talk about, and we're talking about it. And all we're asking is, hey, maybe talk to us about your concerns, air your grievances, do what you got to do. And most of these people that get into this conversation, especially in chat, they don't want to actually show their face. It's curious. It's just a little bit curious, right?
Matt,
so like,
go ahead. Please. I was just, your thunder.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's like I see the same pattern that develops in every. I've been in a lot of circles over the decade in this FE land stuff, and it's always the same pattern. It's like the people that are the hardest hittings. They think they're hitting the paint the hardest in the chat. These cowards don't show up and actually show their face. They don't say their name. They don't say where they're at. They don't actually show up to events where we've talked about this stuff for years. They don't show up. They're just myths. They're like a mist, a cloud, whatever. They could be a bot for all we know. You know. Now we've met McToon. I haven't met McToon personally, but FTFE. These are the only two things that actually had agency from the globe, right? And we can't get them to, well, McToon is probably being paid a lot. I don't know about exactly what his position is, but like FTFE, they clearly have a lot of followers to be the person that they are, and they probably have a financial gain to do that. Here's the thing. All of us on this side, this is how much money I've made, just for the record, in 10 years.
Same.
On talking about flat Earth. This is not a Masonic thing. This is a goose egg. It's a zero. It's a zero. I'll make a zero this way too. 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay. These other guys, they can be as pitiful as they want to be as long as they're getting paid, and they do that. Okay. The rest of us are operating from a position of truth.
That's it.
Literally. That's it. There's nothing else. And if you have a position of truth, come on here and we'll give you a fair shot. But they won't. They won't.
Yep. And you want to know something, man? Like we have nothing to lose because obviously we're putting our nuts out on the line to be censored, to be blackballed, to be called stupid. So come on up here and prove the rest of your people whatever, and you could just add on to how stupid you think we are and educate us. Show us how much of children we are and show us how to grow up, right? And so it's like, I think it's fair that if you truly believe your bullshit, you'd come up here and you'd educate us, because I'm more than willing to listen. And then we can smack down your nonsense with the truth. That's what's so good about operating from a place of truth that
It's
you can
so
prove and you can
easy.
show. It's easy. When you
It's
tell the truth and you're operating from a truth platform, whatever it is you got to say that's not in line with what it is we have to present, we're going to smack it down immediately. And so we're going to laugh at you. We're going to laugh because it's like we know you're full of shit.
If
And we know
everybody
you're of
knew
the devil.
how easy it was to tell the truth, everyone, it would be like everyone would swath to it, because it's just like, oh my God, truth is so easy. It's so
simple.
easy.
It's so simple. And you don't have to, even if you fuck up the words, they know what the hell you're trying to say.
Yeah.
They know what you're trying to say. Even if you mess up some names. But this is what's so good about just keeping it 100%. And you want to know something is, even if you fuck it up, you're all right with going back and saying, hey, you know what? Because it's the truth. And all you want to give the people is something that's right and something that's the truth. Maybe Sean Hawken, if you started telling the truth, maybe people would view you a little bit different. The other guy, Chuck Arnold, if you started operating from a platform of truth, people would look at you different. People would probably show you a little bit more respect. So I'll tell you what, man, honestly, as a man, really all you have is your word and, something to eat and a little bit of work, a little bit of money in your pocket. But it's your word, man, and just operating from a place of truth. If you can't do that, you're going to have a very, very hard time in this life.
Dude, Vlad, can I speak to that? And I think that's a really important thing. Like, you know that thing you get in your gut when you're like, even you talk about white lies, little white lies that maybe help you or like whatever. Like everybody operates in a spectrum of truth, and I don't like to have to tell anybody something a lie. Maybe there's a small white lie that sort of solves you in a little moment that doesn't hurt anybody or whatever. But if you actually operate from a position where it's like, nah, I just saw it that way, that's what it is, it's hard on people immediately to hear that, because like a lot of people are in this political correct situation that we're in. When you just tell somebody how you see it, it offends people. And this offensive culture that comes back at you, you're like, shit, I just offended like 98% of the people in the room. But if you actually just get in the process of just saying, nah, that's how I saw it. I saw it that way. Eventually, that whole 98% starts to soften. They start to soften. And you're like, you take a big brunt at the front, and people are like, that guy's a fucking kook. He's like, what the fuck is that guy talking about? But eventually, they're all like, they eventually agree with you. It's just that it's how much armor do you have to say the truth at the front? It's like the emperor wears no clothes.
Yeah.
And
how
hard is it?
You just got to call it like you see it. And really,
Right there.
like I was being so simple when I'm like, come on up, show us where we're wrong. Just show us.
Please.
Like, please show us. And here's the thing, and it's almost as if when I was starting to come into the flat earth, I was like, I really hope that somebody could fucking show me where I'm looking at this thing and it's wrong. Like I'm praying to God that somebody could be like, oh, this is why it's curved. We measured it. Here's the measurements exactly. I'd have been like, oh, thank God, we've got the measurements right here. Nobody could give them to me. Here's where we show it, the earth spinning. Nobody could give them to me. Meanwhile, where I was working at the time, nobody could give me the answers that I needed. And I was like, I'm in the middle of it and I need these answers stat. Nobody could fucking give them to me. All they could give me is some computer data. And I was like, yeah, I already know about this. What I need to see is, with this thing going up, I need to see these things. They couldn't give it to me. They couldn't show it to me. Oh, well, it doesn't really do that. And I was like, and then all I could think is, nobody gets these opportunities to be in a position that I'm in to see what it is that I'm seeing. And they're telling me that we can't do these things. And I'm like, and it's a ball, because what? You can't even give it to me. You can't tell me. You can't show me. I'm here. I need this information. And you can't even give it to me. But I'm stupid. We're little boys. I'm stupid. I don't know shit. I don't know what the fuck it is I'm talking about.
I think people lost track of actually observation. Like that was what really took me over the edge. Probably sent me on a spiritual, adventure that I didn't even know I was going to go on. But it was like I forgot that I was trained in observation, right? And that's what really sprung this whole, I call it FE 2.0, which is like basically just going out with a camera and what do you see? What do you zoom in on? How far can you see? Do you understand spherical trig? Do you understand how the curvature rate works? And I was like, fuck, I remember this shit. And I literally, just as a joke, went out. I was like, oh, okay, I'll check this out, whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I had several observations with my own eyes seeing this, and then 1,000 of them from people that I trust. I'm like, okay, now we got something here. And like none of these astrophysicists want to even talk about. They don't want to talk about spherical trig. They don't want to talk about even standard high school geometry. They don't want to talk about any of that shit,
dude. It's so easy.
They deflect. They just like, I don't want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. We know this stuff. No, you don't know it because you don't even remember fucking geometry from high school, right?
Exactly.
It's dumb. They're caught. They're busted.
They're caught. They're so fucking caught. And what the crazy thing is that. Now it breaks the wall down because those guys claim being the purveyors of truth. They make these claims, these grand claims, and it's like, hey, and you know what? It kind of boils down to where we were recently with this final experiment. They're like, hey, if you want flat Earth truth, go to the top 3. Go to Dave. Go to Jaron. Go to Austin. Those are the best in the flat Earth. We have this fucking shit show that just fucking happened these last few weeks. And it's like, now we're like, oh my God, I can't believe. And here's my thing. That thing has so many holes in it that it makes a fucking goddamn Swiss cheese look like a fucking perfectly solid cube. Right. And so it's like, we fell for it again. We're like, oh God, we fell for it again. So it's kind of hard to break away from.
We didn't. Like most of the people that know how to think about this subject, none of us fell for that.
It's almost as if we feel that way because of the visceral reaction of betrayal that we got from it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I know, I'll be honest with you, because I said, okay, I could see why they would send them. But then once I saw the reactions on how they were making these certain claims, I was like, oh, I don't think this is the best people to be sending. But I said, you know what? Let's hope for the best. Let's see what they come back with. After the fact, I'm like, oh my God, they sent. This is the worst pair to send to conduct this experiment. Even though it doesn't matter, it made me feel a certain way, kind of like I fell for it again. Using a certain group of people as the penultimate of what the truth is. Right? Even though we know what this place is, we know what this place doesn't do. Not that we know what it is, but rather what it doesn't do. Right? And it's like, this is important to understand again, that these people that make these claims that they're the experts, believe me, I know what it is I'm saying. No, we need to start looking at them with the eye of skepticism and being like, we thought you knew what the fuck you're doing. If you know what the fuck you're doing and you know what the fuck you're really saying, Professor Phil, explain this lack of movement. Explain why there's no fucking curvature. Because here's the thing. If there's no curvature, then where's this movement? Where's this movement if there's no curvature? And then vice versa. If there's no movement, where's this curvature?
The game has always been over.
It's a fucking bullshit game, dude.
The game is over. The game is already over. And I need to remind you guys of this stuff. It's like it literally is already over. This is a 2,000-year-old cosmology that's been in every single religion across this place that we live in. This is 2.0. All right, we're rediscovering it. We're redrawing it up out of the dust of history. That's what we're doing, right? So what we have is very simple measurements that everybody listening to this can go out and do on their own. You don't need us. We're just talking. We're just yapping out into the internet because we like to do it, because we're a bunch of talkers and we like to have good laughs. Every single person listening to this can go out and test it. You don't even need us. You don't fucking need us. Get even binoculars. You don't even need a P900. Get binoculars. You know, understand simple geometry and spherical trig. 3959 demands 8 inches per mile squared in every direction. Search it, do it. It's dumb. You know, yeah, it's fun to talk about and have a good time about it. I mean, the best thing that ever happened to me.
It's different. Yeah, it hits different when you actually do it, though.
Yeah, it does. Once you see it for your own eyes. Here's the thing: the spiritual implications of this are massive, but it's your journey to have. I'm not a preacher. I've never done religion. I don't even know what religion is. I never went to church. I believe in a source, a creator, or something bigger than this. But the implications are huge. But you got to do it on your own. You can't listen to a bunch of crackpots. We're not crackpots, I don't think. But like every single time you get involved in these chats online, there's going to be a bunch of people fighting, like demons or whatever the fuck you want to call them. Literally go out and look.
Do it. Check it out. See
do it yourself.
And every individual, here's what's crazy is when you do it for yourself, I don't know what's in everybody's head. What's in everybody's head in this chat. I don't know how you think. All I know is that a lot of you, for the most part, agree that this place is flat, don't move, don't curve, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's going through your mind. I don't know how it is you process information. So it's important that you go out and you make this observation yourself if you haven't already, because a couple of things could very well happen. You could go out and you could see something that others within the community don't see. This is why it's important to go out and conduct these small experiments yourself. You understand? Yeah. Go out and do that moon cold hot shit. You know what I'm saying? Bring a piece of tinfoil and, you know, put one in the shadow, put one in the moonlight. Conduct those things. Do these things yourself. I don't know when you do it, you might discover something that we just keep glossing over because we normally may tend to take certain things for granted. It's so much so that we don't even talk about them, even though they're right in our face. Kind of like Genesis, kind of like the earth actually being flat, right? So if you haven't done it, go out and do it for yourself. You'll be surprised.
Yeah, and I think like that's the one thing that has to be your journey. Like we can sit here and talk this all day long. I always felt like this was an obligation when I started to understand it. And I think a lot of the people in this community kind of had the same notion. I'm not speaking for everybody, but like I didn't want it. I would rather be out touring, playing music, but I felt like I had an obligation to like, oh shit, fuck. What did I just figure out? And now it feels like an obligation to me to like at least say, hey, go out and look for yourself. And it's not really that hard. You're going to find your solution really quickly. Big body of water. Water should be curving just like the earth is curving. If there's convexity in water, which there isn't, you can go out and do this over lakes. You can do it over land for that matter, because even if the land is elevating up to like, say, Kansas City to Denver, it doesn't matter. You can still adjust the calculations. You still be like, shouldn't be able to see that. Mm-hmm. You know, you can do it on your own. And that's the whole point. You have to do it on your own. Don't listen to us. Go fucking do it for yourself, and then it will go into your heart, and you'll be like, holy fuck, there's no curvature. That's really all it is. There's no other bullshit to it. The rest of this bullshit is Hollywood, Phantasm, and like a bunch of other bullshit where who knows who's getting paid. Who gives a fuck? You can go out and do it yourself, and then you don't have to tune into us anymore ever again. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Doesn't fucking matter. As long as you find out for yourself that you see it, you know, that's it. And then you'll have your spiritual journey, your little walk down the spiritual journey, whatever, God, creator, source, whatever you think it is, you'll find it. But you got to do it on your own.
You got to look.
I can scream as much as I want, but it's on you.
You got to look. Hey, I'm telling you, man. You know, the hits are going to keep on coming. So we can expect them. And it's good that they keep on coming, because not everybody's going to agree. He proved McToon proved the flat earth today on the globe on a lake.
Oh, we should look at that. Come on. I got to get a drink anyway. Can you just is there a link for that? I want to watch it.
Yeah, let's see this McToon.
I'm going to get a drink. I want to watch this thing. Hold on. I'll be back in a second.
Laugh of the day.
Okay, is that it right there? Freaking Disclord? Is that it?
That's just me messing with the Globus.
Oh. Yeah, those guys are Those guys are something else. I would like to see this McToon video that you guys are talking about.
Yeah, someone put it in the chat.
Yeah, McToon is.
Oh, you can't. But okay, let's go find it. What's the name of it?
It's, let's see. Here's a tour of all those on Globeland. No, that's not it. Let's see. Yeah, you guys go ahead and drop that in what's his name's joint. I'd love to see it. Yeah, drop it on in there. I would love to see that. And then this guy, this McToon, he's, I don't know. You know what? I'm not even mad, because here's the thing. They're yesterday's news. I'm not mad. What I'm happy about is that we're no longer there. We're not there. I think what our job is now is to educate the people of what the truth is. And we just need to keep at it, man. Keep striking while the iron is hot, right? And just keep telling people the truth of this place. We're going to get shat on. We are. So expect
Is it the Lake Tahoe curve confirmed video?
I don't know. Is that what you see?
I see one new video on McToon Live called Lake Tahoe curve confirmed. Something like that. I'll take that link and put it in the
go ahead, drop it.
Private chat. Here we go.
Oh God. This dude is on. You know what? Not even going to say he's unreal. I'm going to have to take a shower after watching this. Let's see. Let's present.
South end of Lake Tahoe.
Can y'all see that?
There's the 1000. We got my wife. We got a couple of visitors here. The Robinson twins.
My message is in the way of.
They're doing some cool stuff there.
A little bit.
And this is where Jack Cushman-Harrer said that he wanted to view the curvature or flatness. He thought flat, and that he was going to. Just a second. I need to get my sunglasses on. He wanted to zoom in on the dock on the other side of the lake. They're 19 miles away, and he wanted to put $5,000 on it. Over a year ago, he put this challenge out on Facebook. I immediately accepted, and he immediately started running. I said I already have the money in escrow.
Okay, so my questions are the mountains that were shown to be so he's up in Lake Tahoe, I think in Washington, right? So those mountains that are supposedly snow-capped, right? Beyond them, once they pan over to the left, I wonder how far they are. I wonder how far those mountains are.
There's already Taboo already has like 3 or 4 distance tests over this exact place where he's at, over Lake Tahoe. This is going to be hilarious because like I already know the comebacks on it. What kind of game is he playing here? Because we've already been through this lake at least 5 times. Like he's going to have a problem. Number one, he's going to have a problem with the shore. Number two, he's going to have a problem with the land behind the shore that isn't leaning back, that isn't doing anything. It's like I think it was like 8-10 miles. I can't remember the exact. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's go ahead.
Didn't know what escrow meant.
So let's see it curve.
Thought that escrow meant that I needed to show cash on video. I said, no, well, escrow means that somebody else holds it. And so you ask them if they are holding it and ask them for evidence for it. He had no idea. And I said, well, fine, let's have an escrow company do it. You pick the company, I'll send the money over and they can prove it. He's like, no, you need to show me the cash. So I showed him the cash.
Man, stop your jibber jabber, motherfucker.
It's just stupid shit. He's just talking out of his face.
I'm here. You knew
he's face talking. They just show what you're going to show. Like I'm not talking about you.
No. I'm saying
it's like the guy's just like. What does that have to do with anything?
Like a child. Yeah, he's acting like a little child.
A person across a valley. You said it will be just like that person in the valley. So what am I seeing on this on the dock here? Well, let's have a look.
Okay.
Yeah, Skeptic 936. Yeah, you're right. It was Paul on the plane that had the original one that I saw.
And here is.
Okay.
Here is the P1000. So across the lake there,
Okay.
we found the point that where the other dock is at. Unfortunately,
can you see the problem already here?
A hard thing to find. So here is
it's just so dumb.
That white. Let's see if
he's so stupid.
It's a little difficult. But right there, you see that white thing there? That
even
is
the distance is not.
the resort.
It's nothing. You can't even see curve from so far up, as they say.
It never.
God.
Like, he didn't have to even do the image into his camera.
So right where
you already had it
is.
on the straight footage. You already had it on the straight footage. Like, he zooms in and makes a big production of it. Look at my camera. I'm cameraing this.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't even need that. Like, in most of these cases, you can do it with your naked eyes.
You could do it exactly. You ain't got to do all that with the look at what the camera's doing. Be like, man, come on, bro.
Yeah, so
you're not being serious. He's not being serious. Let's finish. Let's go ahead. Let's just swallow this.
The dock that Jack wanted to zoom in on. This is zoomed in all the way. If you're unfamiliar with how a P1000 looks when it's zoomed in all the way, there it is. It's a ridiculous lens sticking out. Can't zoom in on the dock. Can't see the dock. Can't see the ground.
That's because the Earth is curving, guys. Congratulations, McDoon.
Wait, where was the evidence? Where was the actual evidence that you can't zoom in on it? He's like, he already said it before he even showed his evidence. So is he gonna like go and put his camera on the thing and show that the camera, even though your resolution, looking at another camera's resolution on the camera is like, I don't understand what he's doing here. Is he just playing games? I don't know.
Man, I don't. You know what? We're gonna let him. We're gonna let him.
Let's let him go.
Oh my God!
This is a complete fail for flat Earth.
Oh
we
yeah.
have confirmed the curve of the Earth. There's a large number of feet missing. At least 150 feet missing.
Oh my God! Yeah. This dude. He is unreal. He's like, yo, there's 150 feet missing.
That's not even the right. That can't even be the correct calculations. It's not that big of a lake. What the fuck is he talking about?
He's a fan character, man. McToon. I mean, McToon
is amazing. Let's go ahead.
Let's go. Let's look at it again. Yeah.
Where that should be. So there you go.
Oh,
Jack.
There you go.
I don't know. I think you owe me $5,000.
Oh my God.
But we know
this guy's a joker.
One thing about flat earthers is they do not honor their bets or challenges.
Oh, can you just pause it for a second? Can you just pause it, like just right there? Like, he sort of put his camera up there, so you could sort of see a wavy, balanced image in another camera, and he already made his conclusion right there. This Joker is playing. He's playing an actor role. He's literally playing an actor role. He's probably being paid really well for it.
He's getting
actually,
paid.
Yeah. Sure. So like, you look at that. He just made a thing, and he said, "Look at my camera," and it goes into another camera lens, and he bounces it around a little bit, which you can still see the shore through there, but it's just bouncing. It's just bouncing around, and then he backs off. He's like, "Round Earth proved."
Yeah.
And do you not like stop in a moment? You're like, wait a minute. You didn't document that for even fuck all. You did nothing there. Like, can you just back it up and can we watch that again just for the sake of just like 15 seconds? Because I just want you guys to watch how quickly he came to his conclusion. He has a camera on a camera. Look.
Yeah, man.
Where that should be. So there you go.
All he does is nothing.
Jack,
look at that.
I think you owe me $5,000.
The target location.
But we know flat earthers. One thing about flat earthers is they do not honor their bets or challenges. It is the second law of Flurf.
He's a chaos agent.
Flurf challenges are fake.
Oh God.
Bets would be the same thing as a challenge. So, Jack, this is your humiliation right here.
Oh boy.
You thought this was going to happen. You thought you could zoom in. You wanted to bet me $5,000, but not really. Because when it came to it, you ran away. So probably good that you ran away, because if you didn't run away, $5,000 would be coming to me right now.
Oh
anyway,
God.
That's the live stream. That's all I'm doing here today. we're going to be at Carson City Flat Earth Pizza tonight at 6:30. If you're interested, everybody. That's about it. Thanks a lot, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Oh God.
I mean, if you don't see that there's the whole world is a stage, if that didn't give you the whole world is a stage, he's a player. He's a player. He's just an actor. Yeah. He's probably getting paid very well to do a thing, and that was probably the worst sort of like controlled opposition video I've ever seen. It was like he was like, "Look at my little floaty video." I'm like, no, you're just you're paid. God. You're paid really well to like do your thing, and like
I'm gonna be sick. Oh my God, I'm gonna be sick.
No stills of the actual shot. He didn't even say like I've seen shots across that lake. Like especially Paul on the Plane, and that's a shout out to somebody told me Paul on the Plane was the original one that did some of the original flat Earth observations, which was on Lake Tahoe, and he was doing measurements of the hotel going up and down, and did really good work. And it was like there was the curvature was not there. You could see down the bottom of the hotel and then down to the beach. He goes to the same spot, and then he does this little wobbly thing where he's like, the camera's like, oh, look, there's the proof. It's kind of weak. It's like weak sauce. It's like almost like bad acting. Like, you're not paying me enough to act this well, so I'm going to give you sort of a shit hand of like what you think is going to be. It was weird, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's actually a pretty bad actor, if you ask me. Pretty damn easy to see through.
This dude, you know what? I'm not even mad. At first, I thought I was going to get
either.
pissed. Not even mad, man. Like, of course, Flat Earth. And the thing is Taboo Conspiracy is going to come out with even longer fucking, hey, hello, everybody. This is a freaking video at 75 miles. Our friend from blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, my God. The videos are just going to get longer distances. Dude, the distances are going to get longer and longer and longer and longer. So
that guy's channel was like his channel was like so like key, like because he's an attorney, right? So he thinks of things like, but he applied that to an observational mode, and he was like, "This is like this," because an attorney thinks in a certain way, and it actually applies to observations in the scientific world. I call scientific method, not scientism, where you just observe and you keep track of everything you did. He does everything so complete. Like, and I went through thousands of his videos over the years. Well, I don't want to say thousands, but in the hundreds. And he's like, every single time he went out to the same spot and did the same observation, did it over and over again. He also showed you a picture of the picture that he was taking, also an actual zoom picture. And then he would and sometimes he would have a third person watching from the other side of the lake, showing 2 and 3 versions of the same thing. That was McToon standing on a dock going, rah, 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 with a camera. Put that thing in front of the thing, and like you barely see the fucking image on there. It's like, that proves it's that, and you guys all owe me $5,000. I mean, come on, this guy's an actor. He's a fucking actor.
Yeah.
And probably paid well.
Yep.
Exactly. McToon is, I don't even know. I don't even like saying his name. I've got to go brush my teeth again.
I know, you want to take a shower, right?
Yeah. Oh God.
His name tells you he's fake.
Yeah. Cartoon.
He's a toon.
Yeah, he is.
He's a Looney Tune. He just can't put Looney in front. It's too obvious.
It's unreal, but you know what? He wants to believe that, or he wants to continue having his people believe that. My thing is, man, is it even worth it?
No.
You've got kids, you've got family that are coming into the truth, and they're probably looking at you like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Because I've got family that sees where I'm at, right? And at first, they gave me a lot of shit. But seeing that I've done quite a bunch of different things in my life. I'm the black sheep in my family still. Doesn't matter if I was in the military and I got honorably retired and I accomplished a million different things, awesome things. I'm still the black sheep. I do things different, right? And so at first they looked at me crazy. But throughout history, we've got a thing that the more they've looked at me crazy, it turns out that the crazy things that they've looked at me for turned out to be right. So this is another one of those things. And at first, again, they gave me the vapors, the ridicule. Oh, come on. Yeah, you don't have a degree, but you can't be that stupid. I took it. I was like, that's gonna wind up like everything else. Now my family's looking at me like, can it really be flat? I was like, dog, I've been trying to tell y'all for a long time now, man. Like, I don't just come out and say shit just to say shit.
And let me give you,
Like, take
can
a
I give you
look,
some,
man.
Vlad? Let me give you some juice on this, and I think it's really important. This is not an ego thing. It's uh, be a good winner. Be a good winner. That goes for everybody out that's listening. Be a good winner. Don't once somebody says, "Well, what do you really think this?" And they start asking you real questions. Don't be that asshole to be like, "I told you fucking so." Fucking 15 years ago. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Seriously, don't.
Yeah.
Be a good winner and be like, look, I maybe my superhero skill is like pattern recognition. Maybe that's what it is. And I can see it. And like, and I don't mean to be an asshole when I'm saying, I told you this is what it fucking was. But just be a good winner. Just be like, look, I'm sorry. We come from different mindsets. We come from different brain sets.
Which is probably
like,
why music. I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is probably why musicians pick up on something like this, and it makes sense to a musician because it's the recognition of patterns.
Yeah,
and they just, you know what I'm saying? It just makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's part. I'm sorry to cut you off, by the way.
No. I mean, it's like, we're pattern people because I have to pattern the guitar all the way up and down, and I have to pattern the piano all the way up and down. So it's definitely in my brain, but it's like, it's not of I'm smarter than you are. It's more like, look, I could see it, and I'm not mad at you for not seeing it the way that I did, but just like, don't be a bad winner, because then you're still the asshole at the end of the day, and like nobody likes assholes.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. And it's hard, man. It's hard when that whole craziness with the shot was coming out, and then people were like, oh no, are you sure, man? It seems like you were right. And then I was like, yeah, motherfucker, I fucking told you about that shit. And then it was like, they were like, they didn't want to hear anymore. But my thing was, I'm so mad about that damn shot because a lot of people legitimately lost their lives. And even though I hear what you're saying, that there's not a time to get mad about it, and I think you're right, but it's like, God damn it, I'm justified in being this angry, because maybe if you fucking took it as serious as I did and you fucking listened, you wouldn't have fucking put that shit in your body, and we could have probably saved some people. But maybe, again, maybe this is just God's will and just letting things be as they are.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. And I'm not saying that I know everything. I'm not saying that at all. But a risk like that, I don't think is worth taking.
No, but you, as a person in the world, and like if you have a talent or whatever it is you're getting up to, and especially if you have the talent to analyze the world, you scream from a mountaintop, which we all did in 2020. I mean, in March 2020, a bunch of us in the community were screaming from mountaintains. We got censored, and I had some things with my family and everything else, but we did what we could do. You said what we could say, and after that, you can't avert the trajectory of your family members or people that you love or anything else. You can just say, hey, I don't think this looks very good, guys. But they won't listen to you. And then 4 years later, 5 years later now, and then it's looking like that we were exactly right. They're not going to admit that we were right. That's ego. That's the inability to walk away from ego. So what do you do then? So I'm just going to be a good winner. I'll be like, okay, ask me a question. What do you think is going to happen next? I'll give you my best suggestion, and you can believe me or not, don't care. That's where we've been. And like, we screamed, everybody screamed in 2020, and everybody in this community, at least the one that I connect with, everybody screamed with bullhorns and everything else. Nobody listened, which either told me we have an NPC reality, or we have a very, very condensed, indoctrinated thing, and a few of us sort of escaped the MK Ultra stuff, I guess. I mean, that's my best guess, man. I mean,
but I mean, still, it's like when people can't see the pattern, it's the pattern shit again, man. It's that
I
And
don't
it's
think people
like,
have pattern recognition the same way. Like musicians naturally get it, but like other people get it too. You got it. You through observation, you got it. You know.
yeah, but
You
part
know?
of what I did, you know what I'm saying, back in the Navy was to recognize and I mean, I play music a little bit. I'm not a musician like you, but I play the piano and all that other stuff.
Mm.
And I love music. I absolutely love music. I may not sing as well as other folks, but I sing a little bit, you know. So I have the understanding of music. I understand my circle of fifths and everything else. So I get it, right? So like those things make sense. I can't force people to make it make sense for them. I understand that. But it's like when you see it, when your life ultimately depends on it and they just don't listen. It's like, oh, fuck, man. Here we go again. Like
It's weird.
This is why we're caught up in the rigmarole that we're caught up in. And it's
Yeah.
painful. It's painful, especially when it's your own family and they don't get it.
But here's the other thing too. You got to remember is like maybe we signed up for this.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't mind. I think it's worth it. And and you know what? It's not going to be easy. I get that. But sometimes I have to remember that. And sometimes I have to remember that the frustration is real and it's going to be there all the time. Some days are going to be more frustrating than others, but I think just how we grow in this community and how we accept it with grace and how we not necessarily fight against it, but rather educate people through the frustration and everything still, instead of just getting mad and losing our mind. Because that was me before, getting mad, getting upset, right, fighting. And though it may seem like a noble thing, you're not going to fucking attract the bees that way. So I get it.
I mean, from my perspective, it's like I the truth is easiest, right? Like I can make jokes in the truth forever, you know.
Mhm.
And like if I fuck up and I'm wrong about something, I'll be like, shit, I was fucking wrong. I'll make a joke about it, you know. Like it's so much easier to come from a palette of that, and like say, hey, this is what I saw. This is what I think is happening. This is what I see. And like you also have like a lot of people like. A lot of people talk about like if you're friends with somebody and you're friends with them for 20 years, right?
Mhm.
And then you're like they said something that's against the wave that you're thinking. I generally tend to like swerve towards like, oh, I have a lot of loyalty to this person. They told me a lot of truth until I have evidence that they said opposite. Whatever. I operate that way, but I also operate on a very harsh truth, a very harsh, measurable truth. I trust only what I can measure. And guess what? I mean, I understand how geometry works. I understand how spherical math works. I get it. I looked at it for years because I was scared for everybody else to think that I was a flat earther. I was like, I need to understand spherical trig over and over again. And I went back through all the stuff that I remember from high school. It all checks out. That's what I got. That's what I got.
With it, man.
That's what I got. And like none of these guys from the globe side can even talk spherical trig. They don't even understand how to talk about it. They just wander off into this bullshit, whatever they're talking about, whether they're paid or not. You know, you get to see these guys that are way high up into, you know, their PhDs or whatever. The minute I present that to them, they're just like, bleh. It's like a stupid face comes on. I'm like, did you not understand why that math works that way? It works that way because they used it to create energy systems. They used it to create, I don't know, architecture. They used it to create, I don't know, canals and bridges so they could take goods over the cross of lands to deliver it and make profits because they're capitalists. Nobody thinks about this shit. They just think in this fucking myriad of like stupid ass Narnia shit. When in reality, it's like, you know, we could save like 1,000 hours, you know, a year if we just built a bridge over this river and we need it to land exactly at the spot where it lands. And guess what? It's level across that, whether it's fucking 5 miles or 20 miles or 106 miles. And these dumb shit engineers, some of them are just like, they didn't even think about that because they can't think in aggregate. In aggregate, it's fucking flat. It's
Yeah.
dumb. It's stupid. It's like, my God, it would just look at the volumes of information about flatness, you know, so that our trains don't veer off fucking tracks. So like bridges don't end up in the wrong spot 100 miles away. It's so stupid. It's impossible for me to comprehend at this point. And I'm a lowly musician who likes patterns on guitars. That was a really big rant. I'm sorry, dude.
No, it's cool, man. It's cool. It's cool
don't
because
know.
I think no. I dig it because I think understanding patterns in things, and everything has patterns. Everything does, and we could see that in the most rudimentary of things. People talk about the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequences, and everything else like that, and I think those are great. But and from who? Wow, that's an interesting question. How many of you have unsubscribed recently, and from who? Just curious. Wow.
I don't unsubscribe from too many people unless they're being really just angry. Because I glean a lot of information from other people, even if I disagree with them. I glean a lot of like their positions, and, like what they're thinking, and like I like to. The sign rule is, I don't know, Bo. Why don't you come on? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I know what the sign rule is, y'all, because
I do.
yours truly
So-
doesn't know.
So do. Come on.
Sign. I would say opposite over hypotenuse as soon as I hear sign. So if I could do it on a fucking piece of paper, absolutely I could do it. But the rules, I don't know the words. No. Opposite over hypotenuse in a triangle.
I mean, it's all semantics, but it's like you essentially form anytime you have to have a baseline to order to understand angles to the stars. This is navigation. At the end of the day, I'm a map guy, right? Navigation, right? You have to have a horizontal spot. That's not what the sign rule is, but I think what he's alluding to is geometry. Essentially, you have to have a horizontal position to do an angle. If it's a curved position, then none of your calculations are going to be real looking at any stars. It's just dumb. It's retarded. That's why they curve things. That's why they inverted the entire system we're in. They inverted a flat system to make it a ball, to invert it. That's what deception is, guys. That's what the ultimate deception is. They inverted everything. All right, even up to like we had this whole there was a thing. Hold on, Bo Wilson. It's fine to believe there is flat. The trig isn't internally contradictory on a globe. It's not that easy. No, those are just words, Bo. Those are just words. Those are just words. The math works literally on a horizontal base plane. Okay.
So Bo, sitting there observing these things at a great distance, over and over and over and over and over again in real life, and they're not supposed to be there, over and over again, and just not even paying attention to it, just totally not paying attention to it, and then coming to this, I can't unsee what I've already seen. Doesn't matter how much math you apply to it.
It's over.
I've seen it already. Right. I've seen it. It's done. It's done and gone. If I were to go back to that time, I would see it again. Or if I were to go outside and put myself in those same conditions, those boats would still be there. Those objects in the water would still be there. It's not going to change. You understand that? It doesn't matter what kind of math equation. That's the good thing about understanding, just understanding. Doesn't matter what kind of math equation you put over there. If you're true to yourself and true to what it is you're seeing, ain't no math going to change that. You understand?
Yeah,
Ain't
and
no
also what's really important is like call us flat earthers, whatever. I don't care. Like I think the globe is null. It's null. So it's done. I believe personally, my personal opinion is that it's flat. It just looks flat. The globe is null. I have a bunch of love for everybody that thinks about these topics over and over and over again, because we need real intellectual thought about this thing that we're walking around, because I don't know, I kind of think like it's pretty important to know where we are and where we live before we make any other decision ever in our whole life. Before we make a decision about how we walk out our door in the morning, Like, am I spinning? Am I spinning around? Am I like in a daze? Am I in like some sort of like mainstream bank like matrix that says we're trapped in a matrix that you have to spend money and do all this stuff? Yeah. I'd like to know where I live first before I even tackle that other topic. All right. So like, but Bo, I'd be happy to have you on and like just talk about these very basic things. Oh wait, hold on a second.
So yeah, Bo Winston. I'll tell you what. Here. Yeah, there you go. So whatever 8 inches per mile squared, like it's simple. If we're gonna use math, let's use that one. Something nice and simple, straightforward, easy. We're not supposed to see these things. It's that easy. And since this is something that's not going to be properly tackled by those that claim expertise, then what? We just go along. We just trust me, bro. Yeah. No,
Trust me, bro.
You don't believe them. They've lied before, and that's it. Like that. Like no. Like that's another pattern. If they've lied before, there's a good chance that they're going to lie again, which is what they do. And so they hold up their end of the bargain, and they're full of shit, and they lie all the time. And that one time they tell the truth, well, that's one time they tell the truth, if they ever do, if they get around to telling the truth.
Yeah, and if you get the nature of hypnotizing people and or getting people to follow them, aka the Pied Piper, is you spin things in front of people's eyes. That's old school. It's old school stuff, right? Spinning things in front of people. Spinning ball, a spinning globe, spinning things above everything else. That's part of hypnotism, right? And this is not a new tactic. It's dark and old, and it's part of the occultic position.
Sure is.
They get you to watch something, and then you're suddenly like staring at it, and then you're suddenly following it. Okay, this is how hypnotism works. Just like if you're in a casino, cha-ching, how many people in Las Vegas do this the rest of their life and never even know they're alive? They never even know they're alive. The same thing works with the heliocentric model. Little balls going around. Because it's impossible to think about because it's retarded.
Basically. It's hard to come to that conclusion though for a lot of people because of the amount of shame that they're not willing to deal with. There are a lot of people that are like, I do not want that kind of attention on me, so I'm just going to go along to get along, and I'm just going to yes people to death. Yes,
Indeed.
It's a globe. Yes, it's a globe.
Indeed.
Right? So the amount of cowardice, and I hate to have to say that, but it showed with this whole fucking injection shit, right?
Oh yeah.
The amount of people that are scared of their own fucking shadow is real. It's real. I'm not going to even say unbelievable anymore. It's obvious, right? People are afraid to fucking hold their own nuts, man. People are afraid to fucking tell it like it is. And
well, there it is. I mean, there it is.
Matt Prince, what's good, bro?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Matt.
Not bad, man. Not bad. How's everything with you?
Oh, everything's all good.
All right. Yeah, man. So you might remember that the first rover they had on Mars, they sent it back with a photo with a rat. Yeah, man. I don't know. They, the guy that was in charge of the NRO, I think his name is Dr. Scalise. I don't know if he's still there anymore, but he was a director at the time when I was there. And he was like, yeah, I was on that project. I was one of the grand mathematicians on the rover project. And I was like, so this guess, I was like, so you're like grand full of shit man number one, huh? Nice. You know what I'm saying? And then he ended up becoming in charge of the freaking the agency when I was there. And I was like, man, they put all these people in positions to make it appear as if they're like godlike, that they understand things that you'll never understand, that you'll never see, that you'll never know. Meanwhile, the whole thing's a lie. The whole thing is bullshit. And they have it set up like that on purpose. There's a reason why they do this. And I would like for people to understand that, right? At the end of the day, we even though we discussed this thing, I think it's important that we do something and not just talk about it. So we have a guy in here that's been talking about it for a while, and I have been listening. Awaken Nemesis, right? I have been listening to you. And there's attention that we need to put on the North. What's going on in the North? Not what's going on in the South, right? But what's happening in the North? Why is the North not getting the attention that it deserves? And so, again, I'm going to say it again. And I think we should start putting this wheel in motion, and we should start looking at getting people to the North. If not this year, definitely by next year. When the damn when the ice decides it wants to start getting soft, and I'd say around June, July time frame would be the best time for somebody to be in the North. You know what I'm saying? Where am I talking about? Obviously the North Pole. So 2 Kings or 2 Kings 1925. Okay. 2 Kings 1925. Okay. See, year my grandma was born. We could fly choppers at high altitudes, no problem. Meanwhile, on Mars, NASA can defying physics. Yeah. Yeah. So Anson Howard. All right. We got somebody that wants to go. Okay, brother. Anson Howard wants to go. Okay. All right. Content grifters need to be paid attention now as well. Yeah, so we've got some people that want to go up north, man, but that's cool. I would say for those people that are already up there that they should play a part as well. If they're not going to go, that would be fine, but if they can like kind of help guide us and get us in the right positions, I think that would be optimal. I think we should have all hands on deck playing a part somehow.
We should find Canadian and Greenlandish flat earthers.
Yes.
You know? They're
and
right
then
up there.
use the resources that we have.
There is something like I think this is really applicable. I think most everybody here listening actually knows this video, but this was Justin Trudeau, his North Pole speech.
Right.
You guys know this?
Yeah.
This is for not for everybody already here, but like people that are listening. This is kind of interesting. Do you want to play this?
You're in control, Hobie. It's you.
Okay, got it. So this happened. I don't know. We're not gonna play all 12 minutes, but like just kind of listen and see what you think.
Romans, countrymen. I was about 6 years old when I went on my first official trip.
Pause real quick.
I was going.
Okay, so
He started with Romans. He started with Romans countrymen. Wasn't that weird?
Yeah. Yes, but this looks like years ago. This looks like
he's
young.
This
is Justin Trudeau his father?
No, his father is Castro.
Jack?
Everybody knows his father's Castro, but this is his dad's funeral.
Right.
This is his dad's funeral. His dad, quote unquote, funeral. Just guys, dig into this. Like I'm not making a claim here. This was just an interesting video. Do you want me to play?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. With my father and my grandpa Sinclair up to the North Pole. It was a very glamorous destination. But the best thing about it was that I was going to be spending lots of time with my dad. Because in Ottawa, he just worked so hard. One day, we were in Alert, Canada's northernmost point. A scientific, military installation that seemed to consist entirely of low, shed-like buildings and warehouses. Let's be honest, I was 6. There were no brothers around to play with. And I was getting a little bored because Dad still, somehow, had a lot of work to do. I remember a frozen, windswept Arctic afternoon when I was bundled up into a Jeep and hustled out on a special, top secret mission.
I mean, he's clearly acting.
I figured I was finally going to be let into the reason
He's
for
dead
the
too.
existence of this high security Arctic base. It was exactly right. We drove slowly through and past the buildings, all of them very gray and windy. And we rounded a corner and came upon a red one. We stopped. I got out of the Jeep and started to crunch across towards the front door. But I was told no. To the window. So I clambered over the snowbank, boosted up to the window, rubbed my sleeve against the frosty glass to see inside, and as my eyes adjusted to the gloom, I saw a figure hunched over one of many work tables that seemed very cluttered. He was wearing a red suit with a furry white trim. And that's when I understood just how powerful and wonderful my father was.
All right, pause real quick. Pause.
No, I'm killing it because it's like that's the bullshit. That's
Yeah,
the bullshit that actually comes out of these people's faces. They
Yeah.
play games every single day. It's honestly, it's a full-time 100% psyop all the time. And this guy, he's clearly just a dumbass kid that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's just reading from a script. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
because I'm
reading
sitting
from
there.
a script.
Yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm like, what?
Everything that comes out of the thing, the screens that you're looking at, is bullshit. It's total psyop bullshit. And once you get to that point, you're like, this is not being blackpilled. This is not being like, I don't have any hope in the world. I'm just saying these motherfuckers do it daily. Daily. Almost to the point they don't even think about it. They have no care about they're telling the truth or not. They don't have truth in them. None. Zero. None.
I'm basically done. Like I'm done with them. I'm done with them. And so like we have things we need to do, right? I know we talk up a big game and everything, but we're here. We're alive and we're plenty able. And so if we're going to be doing these observations and everything else, I say we do it on our dime and we don't have to worry about a Pastor Duffy or anything like that.
Indeed.
To kind of spearhead and direct where these things go, what they do. No NDAs signed or nothing like that. You go out there, you fucking do what you need to do. You observe what needs to be observed. You come back and you report. It's that simple.
Oh my God!
So
Observe
I think
and report
that's
has never
something-
meant more than now. Observe and report. You
That's
know,
it.
okay, you see something? Show me.
Yeah, you
Show
just
me.
show what did you film, this, that, the third. You ask questions prior to going. You ask a million dozen questions. You ask how things are done. You ask the best way to conduct A, B, and C. You go out and you execute. It's that simple. You come back, you report. I don't know how many times, like I've been told that, we were too hard on these guys or this and that. Maybe it's my military training and observing. Maybe it's my military training and stand and watch on posts for hours on end and rinsing and repeating and just doing time and time again. But I would expect somebody that is serious about what it is they do would conduct business much, if not exactly that way, much the same way. They'd be
Yeah.
like, this is what I saw, and this is what I saw, and this is what I saw day in, day out. at a set schedule. This is what it is you do. You record it on either paper or video or both. I would recommend you do both. And then you put a timestamp on it, and then you give this to the people. It's that simple.
It's about data, man. It's just about collecting data, and then you can backtrack to the data you collected and be like, hey, I saw it this way, I saw it this way, I saw it this way. That's what got so stormed up, and everybody got so spiraled about this publicity stunt that happened, out there, and be careful about, like, there are chess moves that are happening here of people that have more power than us. Be careful about how you examine it. I don't know what the fuck happened out there. It looks like they went there. It looks like they saw a sun or whatever. I don't give a fuck about that. That made no shit to me and my observations of the damn land. I've been looking at this for 10 years. 10 years of looking at the land. No curvature. None. Zero. So, like, keep that in your mind, and keep that in the back of your mind, and keep a battle axe. And there's bunch of bullshit that's going to come out in all of this. It's going to be bullshit. It's going to be like people wanting to profit or grift on this whole thing because, I'm sorry, FE is the biggest thing other than your spiritual journey that you're going to have. It's the biggest thing ever. So, like, get your battle axe, your knowledge battle axe in hand, and chop it every single time. When you hear some bullshit, chop it and then check it. Everybody can go out and do this yourself. You can go out and test it yourself. I'm keeping this level thing in mind for me because I'm a musician, man. I know notes. If you don't play the right note, it fucking sucks. Yeah. It's the same with measuring the flatitude of the earth. Sorry, flatitude.
Yeah,
just coined that.
That's a good one. But I mean, but you want to know something? It's the amount of deceit that it looks like is here with that thing involved that really stirs a lot of people up. And whether there is deceit or not, with what we saw and what's missing still, Vlad, where's your passport? Right here.
Right there.
That's that fucking simple. That goddamn simple. And when you don't see this simple stuff, it's hard to swallow the hard stuff. It's hard to go. And here's the thing. It's not, I wish they knew that. They know that. I'm not stupid. They know that. But nobody's going to follow through with giving the people what they want. And so at the end, the people don't want to hear no more explanation. They're like, I'm not going to fucking buy your fucking experiment. Take it, shove it up your ass, and go to fuck home. Leave me alone. I don't trust you no more. And now people want to get mad because people don't fucking trust them no more, but rightfully so, because it's the small things that they can't do that now they're upset because people don't believe the big stuff that they were supposed to have done. That's what puzzles me, is they have the fucking arrogance and the audacity to get mad at people that fucking actually trusted them to do the small things, which they couldn't do. And so that's why this whole thing looks like a total shit show, looks like a total lie, like it was staged. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But we don't believe that they're that incompetent. You understand what I'm saying? We don't believe it. And so when they play, oh, I didn't know to do this, or I didn't know to do that, or it was too cold, or I was too tired. Like, people ain't swallowing that shit. And it's not, and I think they know that. So something doesn't sit right with a lot of people, and rightfully so.
It's
it
a practice.
Sit right with me.
It's a practice of discernment, and like discernment is in your own head. I think all of us listening here, we all live in our own head, right? We are our own soul. We're our own person observing. Practice discernment, and this is probably one of the biggest, I guess, tests of discernment of all time, right? Like if you ask me, I could go out to the beach out here to Long Island, and I can see New Jersey through binoculars and or a P900, and I can do the math, and I can say, oh, hey, 3959 radius doesn't work in spherical trig. That doesn't equate to every single person. Some people don't even understand math at all. They don't understand how the numbers work. They don't understand Fibonacci. They don't understand any of that. So like that's not the best way to talk to them about that. They'll just be like, well, refraction, it'll throw a fucking image way up over there. It's just that's too big of a ball for us to understand. No, they just don't understand it. So like what we're talking about here is you have to kind of decrease if you understand math, decrease your understanding of math down to a point of it's like, look, dude, does it feel like you're spinning? Ask them that first. And then after that, be like, who told you that you were spinning? And after that, ask them this. When was the first time that you knew that you were on a spinny space ball? Then after that, ask them, how many Disney movies have you watched that showed fucking Spaceballs? Then after that, ask them about that funny movie that was actually called Spaceballs. Then after that, ask them, I don't know, every single Hollywood film in the last fucking 20 years about Spaceballs. Then ask them that, and we're like, do you think you might have been manipulated by a media?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, people are heavily influenced by what's on the TV still these days. And if it's not going to be on the TV, it's going to be on Netflix or it's going to be on the internet, and through the guise of AI oftentimes, or, some other show or whatever. So people not wanting to learn or people not wanting to see the truth, excuse me, that's all on them. That's all on them. They're missing out. But I think people know that there's something wrong, and they're looking for a way out. And even though and people are starting to accept more things that are absolutely bizarre. You understand? And with understanding that, they're picking up on the bullshit a little bit faster. And you could tell because of things like the freaking stuff going on in California. People understand that, their governors, right? The governor was gone and the freaking mayor was gone at the same time. And so they see through that bullshit. But before that bullshit, you had East Palestine. After that bullshit, you had the things in the sky, right? Off the coast of New Jersey. And people saw through that bullshit. So people are starting to see through the bullshit a lot quicker than people are starting to see through the bullshit a lot faster than they used to. So I think for people to begin to understand the flat earth, it's going to be a little bit easier than it was before. Like I hear about guys saying, hey, I've been a flat earther for like 15 years. And I'm puzzled. I'm like, wow, how did you get it back then? Like, who showed you and what did they show you for you to get it back then? Like me, I just got it like 8 years ago, if that long. Not even 8 years. It was around 7 years ago is when I finally got flat earth, 2018. Right.
I know a guy that's, he's like 65 years old. He's been a flat earther all of his life.
Who?
My granddad told me it was flat when I was 7. He was in the Navy.
I was in the Navy, and it wasn't until the end of my career till I figured that shit out. I had no fucking clue. And I took what I saw for granted. And I was just, I didn't know about no.
Why deny your senses? Like your sense, what do your senses tell you? Like, come on, everybody in this whole thing that's listening.
Yeah.
What do your senses tell you? I mean, it's nuts. The inversion of our senses is nuts, guys.
Yeah, we ignore them. I ignored them wholeheartedly. And I could see all that shit for such a distance. Can't have a flat baseline on a sphere, which is wrong. Doesn't make the earth round, but you can he's just talking long distance. Bo Winston. So at what point does it curve? When does it curve? When is it supposed to curve?
The endless question. It's like, where's the curve?
That's all we want.
We've been looking for it for 10 years. We can't find it.
If I was standing on this thing right here, and I was like on a part of it, and and you're this far away, at some point I'll detect a curve. I will detect a curve at some point. If at some point, if I'm standing on a curve, I will detect a curve. We haven't detected a curve anywhere ever.
Vlad, you know what's fascinating about the whole thing is like they fucked up. They made the radius so small that you could actually detect it. You could actually literally detect it, like with now that the optics have caught up and you have zoom lenses and you can look at things a long distance. They fucked up because they didn't foresee the fact that we would have lenses that would see further than everyone thought. And now the zoom lens technology caught up, like at 3959, it's easy to detect curvature. You should be able to do that. And so then they made up, fantasy stories about things being brought up back over the curve via refraction. Now, refraction exists. It does, but not in the way that they describe it. But it's like, oh no, but it brings it up over the thing. But the problem that happened was, and they totally fucked themselves. Literally, those oil platforms, I think it was in San Diego, there's like 14 miles and 16 miles, can't remember. They fucked themselves because, number one, there should have been a water bulge in front of the first oil platform and either higher one after that. But nobody thought about the fact that there was a horizon behind both of them.
Behind the
You can't fucking reify is not the right word. You can't in a horizon can't be brought up over in refraction into indefinite thing to show an actual thing that you're seeing. It was a total loss for them. They blew it. They lost 2 years ago. They still have lost now. They're still at a loss. Even this thing that they did in Antarctica, they lost. It's over. And I was on Sean and Kingdom and Consciousness. I think he accidentally fired me from the thing. I was telling him, I was like, we already won. It's already done, because the actual optics of a horizon are just optics. They're just how you see the conversion of the sky versus the water. But the horizon showing up behind an oil platform 16 miles away, you can't explain that for refraction. It means it's indefinite. Oh, a horizon's behind 16 miles away and it just comes up and again. They can't do that. They're cornered. They're cornered animals. It's like if you imagine a cornered animal.
They're checkmated.
Checkmated. Now, how long does it take for everybody to figure that one out? It's hard. It's hard to understand, optics. It really is, because it's your eyes. Your eyes see the world. You see the world in a curved perspective in your eyes, right? So you have all these things that happen. They say that it inverts it in your brain and it turns everything upside down. Nah, it's just the way you see it. It's just the way you see it. There is a horizon out there that is optic. It's as far as you can see it, just like the sun up in the sky. It looks like it's in this apparent position. It looks different from somebody in Denver over here. 7,000 miles down in the Arctic or Antarctic, they're seeing it in a different position. But it ain't the same sun that you're seeing. Source sun, I don't fucking know. Don't give a shit. But there's a bunch of people up here going, rah, 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 like they know what the fuck is going on. They don't, because you're inside of a fucking prism. You're inside of a place that we live in. This is our place. This is where we live. We do things inside of this. We ambulate around this place.
Construct.
A construct.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a really big rant, and I think I'm exhausted now, and I think I need it.
Hey, rant on. But I tell you what, man, this bitch ain't curving and it ain't moving. And
ain't curving, ain't moving, ain't doing any shit. It's just bullshit.
And so, yeah, man. So I think what's in order is this visit to the damn north, right? And we send folks that are going to just get out there and do the observation and take notes and let us know what the hell is way up there, right? So they could see it, take pictures of everything, and not even bat an eyelash. Just be like, hey, this is what we saw here. Here's all the evidence. You guys tear it apart. And then those that need that type of data, they'll take it, they'll have it, then they can do whatever they want with it. You I don't think if you're going up there, you don't get to say, you shouldn't be getting to say, well, I didn't think you needed that. How the hell do you know? You prepped for a year and change. You don't get to say you ask questions. I would imagine you ask questions to everybody that's been in those kinds of environment, and they'd probably give you a fucking shopping list of, hey, while you're up there, I need you to get me a sample. Get me a sample of what the ice is. Or while you're up there, get me a fucking barometric reading. Use this. While you're up there, get me a temperature reading at this time exactly, since you're down there, because I've been there once, but I never could get this temperature. Somebody, listen. When I was in the Navy, and I know I say that a lot, but when I was in, right, I would let guys know that, hey, I'm going to this region. Is there anything you want me to observe or anything you want me to study or capture while I'm here? And different people, from different agencies would say, hey, while you're there, because we had our standard list of stuff to go after while we're in certain theaters, right? And but we would have extra stuff that guys at different agencies would say, hey, while you are here, look for these things specifically. And if you can record them a certain way, please record them and bring back the data. It would definitely help us. And so I'd put that information out there that I'm going here, and based off of what it is I do, I can get this information for you. What do you need me to get? And so I'd get a lot of people responding, hey, get this, recorded it at this bandwidth, blah, 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 this, that, the third. And I would do it. Why they needed it, I had no damn idea. Of course, I would ask. And sometimes they would be at liberty to tell me. Sometimes they couldn't tell me. They just needed me to record it. And I was like, hey, whatever, man. But I did it, and I did it gladly. You know, me being there at that time, at that place, I did it. And it was fun to do because it's like, hey, can I actually do it? Let me give it a try. And so I would. So before you go to a place that you may never ever return to again, and a place that we may never ever go to ourselves, you got to ask these questions. Of course, hindsight's 2020. I've said that a million times, but you got to ask these questions. What would you like if I go down there, other than a fucking postcard or a snow globe? What can I give you? Right? People would be like, hey, get those barometric readings. Get the sun at, if the sun does this, get it at this time. Get it at that time. Use an infrared camera while the sun is up there. Whatever. I don't know. Use your imagination, people, right? And people would ask those questions, and they would require certain data. My thing, while I was there, is what did the moon look like? I wonder what the moon looked like. And what does an infrared camera look like while it's on down there? Right? What does the infrared camera look like while it's on down there with the sun? And what is it? Yeah, right. What does the infrared camera look like trained on the sun? What do these sunspots look like? Do they look normal like we see them over here? Or are they flipped backwards and upside down because they're on they're being reflect, or they could possibly be being reflected? So those things interest me. Did they look at them that way? I don't know. I'm assuming perhaps not. I don't know. But you would ask these
apparently they did. They did actually capture upside down sunspots.
They captured upside down sunspots?
Like from apparently Austin Thompson and Whitsitt and Jaron were in communication at the same time. And Austin Thompson was in Florida at the same time that they were in Antarctica, and they captured the sunspots, and they were apparently Austin and Jaron were looking north as Austin Thompson was looking south, and they did capture upside down, like or inverted sunspots.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, and there is a video actually on that already. Like I think Austin Thompson has it on his, and I think Whitsitt or Jaron, one of them put it up as well, of them doing it at the same time.
Well, that changes a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like taking any side on this because I know it's a plane.
So Matt, what is that noise in the background, man? It sounds like I don't know if you
Little
farting. It sounds like some like fart noise.
Oh, I don't know.
like some
Yeah.
little robot trying to take over the call.
Maybe
Yeah.
I should turn my volume down. Maybe it's
There it
flipping or
is.
something.
It's like boom, 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 like you're playing a French horn or something like that in the background.
Oh, I don't know. Is it still happening?
There it is. Yeah.
Oh,
You would be able to hear it if you go and check the YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
should I back out and jump back in?
I don't know, but we
Maybe.
can hear it. It's audible. It's definitely audible. Hey Nikki, what's happening?
Hey, we're gonna lurk a little bit. I want to say one thing, last thing. I love everyone
No,
in here.
I just want to rant.
She wants to rant.
I want to rant.
Yeah.
I have nothing to rant about, but I just want to tell you how much I love all you motherfuckers are ranting.
Yes.
I think
It's
it's
rant.
fucking amazing that all you guys are getting all of this off of your chest.
Get it off. Get
Rant
it
or
off.
day.
Rant the shit out of things.
Yeah.
Vlad, I love you.
Rant,
you're one of the
rant.
good the fair ones on
I'm
the
sorry.
whole thing.
Hold on,
And-
wait. I didn't
yeah.
mean that. I didn't mean for that to be sarcastic. But like, if you can't do anything, then just like rant.
Just rant. Just fucking rant.
The rant. Yeah, you got it, man. Rant all day.
Rant.
Rant,
All you
rant.
guys, we had a lot of love for you guys. Just keep your chin up, and mwah, mwah, mwah. See ya.
Yeah, love you back, man. Y'all
Yeah.
be safe. Yeah. So I dropped that link, y'all. I dropped that link. I ain't got too much left in me tonight. I have a couple of things I need to take care of. I'm sparking up the fireplace because it's colder than a motherfucker over here, and a brother is cheap. I ain't gonna be using my dang I'm not gonna be using the house heat like that. So I'm gonna be burning some wood, and I'm sleeping in the living room tonight because I've got a little bit of a project that I'm working on. So yeah. So I gotta get ready to start working on my fire. Truth Trolletto. Hey, how you doing, sis? Maria Walker's in the house. How you doing, sis? Joyce B is in the house too. Joyce, how you doing, girl? It's good to see you. And man, yeah, I love having y'all here, man, and I love getting on with y'all. But yeah, and I tell you, man, it's love you guys back, man. I love you guys too. Love you, Ryan S, man, and it's good to have y'all, man. Nano CBD was good, man. It's good to have you, man. Vlad, watch this. What's that? What's that? This? What's this? That? What is that? This? What's that? Global alert news. Let me share this with you guys. Let me share with you what it is I'm looking at right here.
The this, that?
This right here. You guys familiar with this?
The foundation for the development of a weather satellite that will permit man to determine the world's cloud layer and ultimately to control the weather, and he who controls the weather will control the world.
Los Angeles County, California just got Lahaina'd. From firestorms to flash freezes, welcome to Engineered Earth. Buckle up, because the fun's just getting started. Wait and see. While the eastern and southern U.S. are being chemically cooled, complete with extensive ice storms, the fry, dry, and blowtorch treatment is being inflicted on the affluent of Southern California. First, were the U.S. weather personnel at the National Weather Service, the ones with the illegal federal gag order on them regarding agency operations, were they told to hint at what was scheduled for Southern California? Would they even know what was coming? They just recite what they're told. And was it just a hint? Some kind of a sick, twisted protocol from the powers that shouldn't be? From ABC News, National Weather Service issues particularly dangerous situation warning. Here's what to expect. And that was the exact quote from the NWS, particularly dangerous situation. And there's this trickle-down warning from AP News. another round of powerful dry winds to raise wildfire risk across Southern California. All of this, of course, before the events actually took place. The AP report then says winds will whip up and humidity levels will drop in Southern California this week, raising the risk for wildfires in parched areas. Forecasters warned on Monday. They continued gusts could reach 80 miles per hour across Los Angeles and Ventura counties as winds intensified Tuesday, which happened, and into Wednesday, which happened, the National Weather Service stated. They continued scattered down trees and power
American
outages are
off-grid,
likely
peace,
in addition
brother.
to rapid fire growth and extreme behavior with any fire starts, end quote. The Weather Service Office for Los Angeles stated this again, start of the week. From Fox Weather, more warnings of the scheduled weather and ensuing firestorms. Los Angeles braces for, quote, life-threatening windstorms. And by the way, all Matrix media use the exact same terms because
Got
they're
it,
reading
Kate.
from the same script as fire weather warnings expand across Southern California. Fox continues, dire warnings have been issued for the Los Angeles area after the forecasters say there is the potential for the strongest wind event in more than a decade. Particularly dangerous situation fire weather warning is also expected.
Okay, that's interesting. I pause that for a second because I see Lord Racer. Exo Nico asked Jaren to see his passport on the Reckoner. And what happened? Did we get to see Jaren's passport? Did we see it or not? I'm curious.
I'm guessing not. But I would like to know too.
I would like to know. He got mad. We didn't see it, so he gets mad.
My God.
He got mad because we wanted to see the passport. Is that what we're talking about, Ryan S? He's nostalgic. No. To his peril, he may not like it, but it said, what a dichotomy. I bet not. Yes, Ryan. Okay, so what happened? Did we get to see it? I'm waiting for Lord Racer. Lord Racer, did we see it? Oh, we need the people to do something about this government.
Yep.
You can't guess about that. Oh, you don't know. So, Lord Racer, what happened? Did we see the passport or no? Did they get the passport? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, they ain't got shit. Exactly. Awakened Nemesis said, yep, told you they ain't got shit. They ain't got shit. Austin Whitsitt was about to pull it out on a Z passport, but Z zipped and changed the subject. No, you know what, Austin? No, we don't need to see it. And I was like, oh, dude, what are you doing? No, we don't need to see it. We just want to hear from you, Austin. And it's like, no, Z, you're supposed to be like, yeah, bitch, whip that shit out, motherfucker. I want to see it. That's what you're supposed to say. And he said, no, it's like, man, we almost had Dr. Claw, bro. I wanted to see Dr. Claw's face, and you said no. Oh, see? And then it said he got mad now. He has to have a fake passport made that the show he went there. He got mad. Like, why is he getting mad? You see, when you get, see, it's this simple. Like, hey, let's see your passport. Okay. All right, there it is. Here's the stuff. All right, it's that simple.
Nah, he
Let me
has
see
to
your
go, oh,
ticket.
you don't believe me and all that kind of stuff and get mad.
And then I would have been like, surprise, bitch. Surprise, motherfucker. No, we don't believe you. Why the fuck you think you've been having all this fucking agita these last few fucking weeks? Because we don't believe you, motherfucker. No. So let's see this goddamn passport. And then, you know, no. How I read like you, sis. How I read like you, Pebbles. Yeah. So it's that simple. It's, yeah. All right. Trust me, or I'll, exactly, Gene. Trust me, bro, else I'm gonna get mad as fuck. And I'm gonna be so mad, you're gonna be like, all right, man. He wouldn't be that mad if he was lying. No, he's lying. You know what? So, Lord Racer, you disappeared. Where did Lord Racer freaking go? Where did Lord? Yeah, exactly. Z in on the scam. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, Z's in on the scam. Yeah, because he's like, no, we don't have to see your passport. No, we do need to see your
Okay, okay.
passport.
He brushed it off.
Jaren brushed it off by. Oh wow, that's interesting. So yeah, now he's above showing his passport. Where that's the crazy thing. No, Pebbles isn't a guy. Pebbles is what's his name's? Pebbles is a guy, Vlad. No, it's not. Pebbles is a girl. That's what's his name? Porter's girlfriend. Cajun Porter. Yeah, Bowenson. Yeah, I'm holding up my passport because it's this simple. It's like, where is it? It's right here. And let me show you the contents. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you the contents. And so it's that what the reason I keep doing that is because it's accessible. It's that easy. It's simple. It's something simple. Before we even ask any other questions, the passport should be bang, here, right here. Here it is. Also, here's my tickets. Right here. Here are the tickets. Also, here's this, here's that. Here's the stuff from the gift shop. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's as much stuff as I could present to you immediately before we start digging into the weeds. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure do.
So he didn't. He deflected. Jeez, man.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. Foreign visas is an actual, but faking foreign visas is an actual crime. They're okay with fake video, but faking foreign visas is an actual crime. Yeah, which is passport vaporized in the thin air, Union Glacier being the same. Yeah. She's very pretty for a guy. Just saying. Yeah, she is, right? Yeah. And she's pretty for a dude. Let me see. And showing it. I would have insisted on showing it right. Exactly. I'd have been like, yo, look at my passport. Exactly. Duffy getting him a passport printed up for him as we speak. Duffy's like, hey man, I'm a multimillionaire. I got friends that could do that illegal shit for you. Come here. Let me give you a fake passport. People make that fake shit all the time, but we're giving him an opportunity. Excuse me. We're giving an opportunity to have an alibi, to have an out, kind of like something to work with. And it's so simple. No, we don't fucking trust you. You don't believe me? No. Hadn't you know? Have you been awake these last few fucking weeks? No, nobody here believes you. Not a fucking word you say. So let's get that fucking passport. And nothing. But let's continue with this. We'll do another 5 minutes on this, and then my black ass, y'all know what I'm about to do. So let's continue.
Los Angeles and Ventura counties could peak near 100 miles per hour. They then say this: flights going in and out of LAX can expect delays as forecasters warn of, quote, quite dangerous mountain waves for pilots. Airlines and pilots are being urged not to fly near terrain during the windstorms. The widespread damaging winds and low humidity are also leading to extreme fire concerns across most of Los Angeles and Ventura counties. Let's keep going. The scheduled events the Matrix Media warned us about then materialized from sciencealert.com. Quote, weather whiplash fueling LA's wildfire could make it costliest in history. The Science Alert report then states the urban firestorm may be the costliest wildfire disaster in California history, if not national history. The urban firestorm. Think about that. All the brick and mortar we have here, all the infrastructure, all the fire hydrants, all the firefighting agencies, and yet we have completely unprecedented fire behavior, literally a blowtorch, same as Lahaina, same as Paradise, and there will certainly be more to come. The Science Alert report then states the last 2 winters in Southern California have actually been quite wet with heavy rainfall and flooding, which is a huge part of the problem. Yes, it is a huge part of the problem, but not because of the reasons they would have us believe. It's not that everything's growing so wonderfully from all this water. The water is contaminated, period. And this is not speculation, theory, or conjecture. We have peer-reviewed study to prove every single drop of rain on the planet is contaminated with PFAS, forever chemicals. It's killing soil microbiome, killing root systems. So we have foliage, flora, that's dead and dying, and that burns a whole lot better than live flora. They then say this is part of a growing phenomenon that some officials call hydroclimate whiplash, aka weather whiplash. From the LA Times, this. More than 9,000 homes / structures damaged or destroyed in Palisades, Eaton fires, officials say. 9,000. Nothing like this happened historically. I grew up in Southern California. I grew up where the top of the Santa Ana winds started, which is the bottom of Cajon Pass. And we never feared massive, unstoppable firestorms then. Never. Totally different conditions. And the climate intervention operation factor in this equation is completely systematically omitted from any dialogue, anywhere, any official, anything, any matrix media. That has to change.
I get you, Bo
Only
Winston.
a fully aware and awakened population that's justifiably outraged has any chance of changing that equation. From theatlantic.com, the particular...
I get you, Bo Winston, but I also get Gene spliced. So Bo Winston says, I think it's incompetence, and now they're too pissed to often give in to demands, if you get me. But then Gene spliced also says, the basics, passports, receipts, boarding passes, the basic evidence, like that should have been the first thing that you present once you hear protest about your fucking trip. You'd be like, oh, really? Well, what's this? And what's this? And what's this? A pen. And what's this? A mug, obviously. But you hear what I'm saying. So you present the stuff that's readily available. It's so easy. It's criminal. That's how easy it is. Anybody with half a brain, a quarter of a brain would say the same thing. Like, well, they said they went. Did they give you a receipt? Did they give you a passport? Because going to different, continents and stuff like that, especially a continent like that, would require that you have this, right? So you would have something showing that type of evidence instead of trying to burn a bag ticket because you have a magnifying glass. It's crazy. Let's continue. A couple more minutes, and then y'all know what's going to happen.
Horror of the Los Angeles wildfires. So many are asking themselves, why did this happen? Let's see what the so-called climate experts have to say. From phys.org, research links intensifying wet and dry swings to the atmosphere's sponge-like ability to drop and absorb water. Here's the overall summary statement from this report that blames the atmosphere for the climate chaos that's wreaking havoc all over the world. Here it is. Wait for it. Straight from the so-called climate scientists, quote, if only we knew what caused these swings, end quote. We're absolutely living in a planetary asylum. From the, quote, safe and effective mantra to the, if only we knew what caused these weather swings bit. Total betrayal from the so-called experts that we are trained, taught, and programmed from birth to blindly trust. Time to wake up. So about the fire apocalypses that shouldn't be, the Paradise, California, Lahaina, Hawaii, and now the LA kind. From AP News, it's not really the typical time for nasty California fires. What changed? That's a bit of a soft word for this type of apocalypse, isn't it? So what did change that? Why the unprecedented firestorms at every and any time of year now?
I agree,
Look
Maria.
up. There's your answer.
Maria.
The raging climate engineering elephant in the sky that's still officially denied, not just by the matrix itself, but by far too many within the ranks of so-called society. Yes, there are.
Bo Winston, yes, he used his bag ticket. It was his bag ticket. I saw it. It said $100, and I was like, that's probably his bag ticket. And then he was setting it ablaze, but I was like, that's his bag ticket. So I was like, that's pretty telling. But I'm watching it. I was like, I see what he's doing. And that's a dick move, but I see exactly what he's doing. And so I paid attention to that. That's something that I wrote down in the time as what's his name was doing it, that he was using the magnifying glass and doing that bullshit. Geez. Guys, that's a little bit over 5 minutes, but even still, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave you guys with, yeah, that was it. So that link that I just dropped in there, that is the thing on the geoengineeringwatch.org. That's that geoengineeringwatch.org, family. It was fun tonight. It was fun, but my ass has got to get off and take care of business. Y'all see me over there morning yawning like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It's 12:47 right now. But Truer Tuesday, I owe y'all. Truer Tuesday, you know what it is, man? I owe y'all. And I owe y'all a good 4 or 5 hours. Not this fucking bullshit 3 hours, man. I kind of feel like a little crybaby. 3.5 hours, man. Usually I be going hard in the paint. You know what I'm saying? But even still, family. And they turned the war. Exactly. They fucked up, man. Those guys fucked up big time, California. You know what I'm saying? Fire was predicted by Joe Rogan 2 years ago. It happened exactly as how he described it. From Hollywood sign to the ocean, no firefighting. Wow. And yeah, man, this is our quote unquote politicians, our quote unquote leadership. And this is what McToon and all them idiots ain't talking about. All those guys ain't talking about that. They too busy with us in their mouth. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, family, I'm gonna let y'all do y'all's thing. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna call tonight a night. Okay. Even still, that is it right there. Maria Walker also dropped that link. Maria Walker, I appreciate you, sis. Love you very much, sis. Thank you so much. And I love you back, Ryan. All right, you guys take care. And you guys enjoy your night. I wish y'all nothing but the best. Health, wealth, love, joy, prosperity, most of all, wisdom. However, before I get off, I owe Disc Lord and Matt. I owe you guys your last word. Please, please. I don't want to rush off before you guys have something to say.
Good show and much love to everybody.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you, Disc Lord. Matt?
Yeah, same here. Much love to you guys. Vlad, keep doing what you do, brother. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man. And I appreciate that toad in the background that's croaking over there. You know what I'm saying, Matt? It sounds crazy, but I appreciate you guys, man. Disc Lord, thank you for being on here. Matt, thank you for being on here. And Lowry, thank you for being on here. And Nico, thank you for being on here. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. It's north or bust. Okay, it's either we go north or we don't do nothing at all. Let's pay that place some attention. Let's get ready. Let's head north. Let's give it the love it deserves. And let's tear this thing up, man. Let's bust the gates wide open. Get some education out this motherfucker, man. Let's not let these guys limit how we learn this fucking world. Anyway, family, that's all I got. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Health, wealth, love, joy, prosperity. Most of all, wisdom. Please be sure to join us on True Earth Tuesday and the other stuff that might as well be happening between here and there. And I'll probably be on somebody's show cutting it up. Either way, family, you guys have a good night. Be safe. Stay warm. Love one another. For sure, for sure. I didn't know what that fucking ended with. Anyway, y'all know what it is. Do something right. Do something good. Keep an eye out for the people, man. For the people that is on your side. Keep an eye out for them. Anyway, family, that's all I got, man. That's it. That's a night. Peace, y'all. Love y'all. Peace.